A good day, good day, good day. Good to be back on the closing argument. This is Tuesday, September 26, 2023. We are back on the closing argument with 14 days to go to the elections. Wow. We've been checking this thing for almost a year. We're down to 2 more weeks now. Not this Tuesday, next Tuesday, the last Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday, October 10, will be the elections. Liberia 2023 presidential and legislative elections will be on. Liberians will go to the polls to exercise their franchise in either re-electing President Weah for another 6 years or electing a new president. But that will happen on October 10, 2 weeks from exactly 2 weeks from today. We'll be experiencing that process. As my friend Ben can call it, the crazy season will be over. The silly season will be over. We'll come back to normality. We'll start to make sense with each other. We'll start to the bridges that we have burned with one another. Hope to mend those bridges and get back on course. Like I was just talking to my pastor before I came on the show. He said, we are praying for this election. We're praying for a peaceful, transparent, and free election. So we're looking forward to this, to that day. Chairman Ben, he was in the last election. He was very active in the last election. He was chairman of the opposition Liberty Party. I remember he and I used to talk. I was in America. He called me and said, "Oh man, we got this thing going, man." and Ben was foreign minister in Witty.
Why you lying?
I said, what?
Let me tell you who
be dean of the cabinet.
No. Let me in all fairness, that's not true. Let me tell you who Brumskine really wanted to be his foreign minister. Sarah Besloyanti.
Wow.
Sarah Besloyanti was Brumskine's pick for foreign minister.
She would have made a good foreign minister, man.
That was his pick. I'll be very frank with you. He had a very solid cabinet that he was thinking about putting together. But I tell you, he's we miss Brumskine very much. I call him the president that we never had. The president that we never had. Someone who had enormous passion for the country, and far from perfect. He was not a perfect man, but he was a straightforward man. He was an upright man. And, when I sit and I think about what we've been going through and what the party has gone through over the last couple of years, I think heavily about him. It's well documented. Everybody, we had differences. There were times we fought. It got a little messy towards the end of the process after we went to court. And when we lost the case, we fell off based on the timing of endorsements. But one of the things that I'm extremely grateful to God for, Tomalin, is that I got a chance. I would say Musa, myself, Harrison Conway, the rest of the guys, we got a chance to lay it to rest with Councilor. We had a chance to meet, we talked. And so even before he passed, we were one of the very few that, he was in touch with. But that was his pick for foreign minister. He's no longer here, so we can talk about that. His pick for foreign minister would have been
a great pick, though. Sarah Besloyanti would have been a great pick. Most people don't know Ben. Most people don't know you. And when I see them attack you, sometimes I don't know. And to be honest with you, I will never forget. It was 1998 at the Unity Conference Center, right? That we had all Liberian conference, right?
Yes, Unity Conference Center.
Yes. I think Ben was singing in Cathedral, I think, and we're all there. We're all on the banner of the Liberian National Student Union. I think Gafwan was our leader. He was leading that group.
Gafwan was head of ALSU.
ALSU, yes. I think ALSU. And then Gafwan.
Guess who was head of Liberian Student Union was Jefferson Camo.
The current
national security advisor of the president.
Yes.
He was
so most of the people I see them talking today, I just recently the guy on Facebook is not talking about it into politics. Well, we were there. We saw it.
Henry Costa. I just name it. Everybody was at that conference. Every person was at that.
I remember vividly. I said that Chastedon, a strong leader, and Ben and Gafwan started. Gafwan went after the president about the Abuja Accord. He went after the president, And then Ben Sanvee got out too. The boy gave one head of a speech. I said, wow. Begin
Yeah.
brave, man.
It was.
What girl? I don't, Mami Nata.
No, Mahawa Ja.
Mahawa Ja.
Yeah, she was.
You're in a group that want to go. You're in a group
that
you're in a group that want to go see the when Taylor say you go show
prison.
me the prisoners.
Yeah.
They said they told Taylor say you got people in jail. Taylor say you sure? Ben said yeah. So they go. They put it in the car to go check it. The guys were brave, and these guys were brave. They stood from Charles Taylor. You know. Yeah, and then today I see people they understand. I mean, these are people who stood the test of time, you know. But today, Facebook, the blue everybody can that kind that tall. And some of the guys that were nowhere around, you know. They were nowhere around. We didn't see them doing student activism, nothing. I mean, most of them. But today, everybody can get platform and go get on a platform and talk. So they come and just insult and do all, and that was the real people who insult. It really been through and then I gave certain respect to certain people, like this guy. People don't understand this guy. He's a medical doctor today, but those were the guys who challenged Samuel Doe, senior comrade veteran Chris Dubayar. That guy, these were the guys. The great. I mean, all the guys are Larry Tokba, Ezekiel Pajibo. I mean, these are people who challenged Samuel Doe, the military junta at the time.
But so you know, Tomalin, I got a funny story, and it's interesting you bringing these little historical things up. So let's while the rest of the guys come in, let's shoot the time. I don't think we have a real set agenda today. We're just going to talk about national issues across the board, what's happening. I think the president is in Lofa. I don't know what to believe. I'm seeing pictures of the Unity Party, then I see another picture, you know, with the people welcoming the president. But with that being said, you're talking about history. You know, before he died, Gabriel Bacchus Matthew.
Oh yeah,
Gabriel Bacchus Matthew. I met him. He was someone. Obviously, Gabriel Bacchus Matthew is an icon when you come to Liberian politics. You know, I always tell people, if anybody, it just shows you how, you know, popularity and this thing that we do, right? Activism is a perishable commodity.
Yes.
In 1979. If anybody had told you that Gabriel Bacchus Matthew would not have probably been president of Liberia or something, I mean, I don't know, right? You would have bet against that person. And I remember towards the end of, right before I left to come for school, me and the senior comrade Gabriel Bacchus Matthew, we met up on Broad Street. I never forget that meeting. Never forget. That time he was working at he was at OTC. Taylor had he was one of the head there for, you know, President Taylor, I think, just gave him an opportunity, something for him to be able to, because he wasn't doing so well, you know, financially. And Taylor was the kind of guy who felt, you know, this was someone who was an icon and you can't just let him be. And I remember a conversation me and Gabriel Bacchus Matthew had, and we were sitting up to the old Salvatore restaurant on Broad Street. A lot of people, if you guys know where I'm talking about, is now called Hilltop. There's a popular entertainment center up there called Hilltop. Lorena is the one that owns it. But I'm telling you, Gabriel Bacchus Matthew said something to me, and we were talking, and he said, and I was trying to pick his brain. Right? He said to me, I said, it's funny now how things have turned, and this is where we are as a nation. What are your thoughts? Are there any regrets, any mistake you think you've made? If you were to do this thing all over again, would you take the same route? And I remember vividly what he said to me. He said, look, I don't regret fighting for multi-party democracy. He said, but what I regret a lot is being overly radical to the extent that I did not lead the progressives, or the progressive, we didn't lead ourselves into the mindset of true governance. And he stood up. Yes. He did something very profound. He stood up on Hilltop, and we were talking, you know, we're drinking, you know, I think we were drinking beer or something. We're laughing. And because I told him, I said, man, I want to learn from you. You know, he said, Ben, you're a smart young man. And he stood up, he said, but you see, he said, come. And he stood up, right, you know, in the median, right on Broad Street there. And he pointed down. He said, you see this place? I said, yes. He said, you see all these people? I mean, the place was packed, Monrovia, Broad Street. Busy. I think it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He said, you see this place? You see these people? He said, do whatever you can do. Do whatever you can do to fight for your country. Fight for what you believe in. He said, but don't die for these people. I'm telling you something serious. He said, but do not die for these people. See these people right here? He said, don't die for them. So I said, what do you mean? And then while we were talking, the late Mabutu Vlad Yimpan came. Mabutu Vlad Yimpan, a stalwart of the United People's Party.
Yes.
Firebrand, LU campus. They didn't want what? They didn't want to react together. The newspaper react.
Yeah, faculty, the whole group.
The faculty, audit board, And I remember Mabutu said, Ben, you want to know history? I said, yeah. He said, we used to write react and drop it off in the night. That time there was social media.
Yeah, so in the morning.
In the morning, by the time you wake up in the morning, you see the react all over the city. Say, and Doe was going looking for them.
Yes.
Who are writing this react? But he said something. He said, let me tell you a funny story. He said one time they met Bacchus Matthew at UPP headquarters right after Taylor won the election. It was a year after Taylor won the election, and Taylor kept making out overtures to Bacchus Matthew to say, Bacchus, we are brothers. Come, let's work together. And Bacchus Matthew kept saying, no, I can't do it. I will be betraying the struggle. I will be betraying the people's struggle. And then he said, finally, he made a decision to cave in. So he wanted to meet with his diehard people, Mabutu, Blamo Nelson. I mean, these are names. Blamo Nelson is still alive. He's the ambassador in Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
He said they met at the UPP headquarters on VP Road, on the old road. If anybody remember the United People's Party headquarters was on VP Road on the old road.
Yeah.
He said, and the place was back. He said he stood up in front of his guys. And he said to them, he said, gentlemen, we are struggling. President Taylor has reached out to me. He wants me to come to help him. He wants me special envoy of the president. That was the first offer Taylor made to him. Say, come, I'll make you special envoy. You will go and travel. You will go represent the country for me. Because he had made Romeo Horton, all these guys, he had made them special envoys. And he said, and Mabutu said, he stood up in the meeting, young firebrand, and he looked Bacchus Matthew in the face. And he said to Bacchus Matthew, he said, you will not do nothing like that. You will not accept that role. If you accept that role, you will be going against the people's mandate, the people's struggle. How dare you say? And Mabutu explained this story to me in front of Bacchus Matthew. He said, how dare you come here and say you will work in Taylor government? And Mabutu said, Bacchus Matthew cooled them down with a line. He asked them, he said, gentlemen, in 1997, about a year and a half ago, I was on that ballot. I ran for president against Charles Taylor. He said, so I hear what you were saying. Who are the masses you are talking about? Are you talking about the almost 80% that voted for Taylor? Or are you talking about the less than 1% that voted for us? He said, Comrade Vlad Yimpan, who are you talking about? Which struggle are you referring to? He said, let me tell you something. You guys always, this is the mistake we made. We misread the temperature of the country. We misread the people. Sometimes certain men and women are bred to only be activists and advocates. But they are vision bearers and they are solution bearers. And I never forget that story. So the reason I say this is because you just reminded me. When I see people getting personal and abusing and taking this thing to the level that they don't have to take it to, I laugh all the time because I say to them, who are you speaking to? Because everybody got audience. Everybody got audience. I just thought to share that, and Jackie, welcome. I just thought to share that, but like I said, there's a rich history out there, far from perfect, but people tend to, get all personal and stuff like that. But like you said, Tomalin, in 14 days,
yes, we
all
know.
this noise will be over.
One
pastor may go to a runoff, I'm pretty sure, and then we'll be able to wrap this thing up. But
just for you end, just before we end on this thing, I remember in 19 the war came 89. Barcos won us in 1988. I think 88 or 89. He won us because the election was scheduled for 1990. What? Because Doe King 85, 86, 6 years. 92 were elections.
92 supposed to be election.
Yeah. So Barcos won. He said, "Look, any attempt to disrupt the democratic process will be taken way back." He said, "So we better allow Doe to finish his term, and we'll go to elections." But at that time, they banned UPP, LPP, and I think another party. The three progressive party that was Sawyer, Barcos, and somebody, and I think they banned them. So they won't allow to take part in elections. And exactly what Barcos said came to pass. And we saw what happened after 1990. It was history, and that was the beginning history. But again, look, it's history. We can't forget our history. We should always remember it as a people, as a nation. That's why elections, we say it has consequences. If you vote right so that tomorrow you won't regret your vote, And again, like I said, and I was telling somebody just before I came on the show, I said, the opposition are crying today. They are crying. They are splintered. They are all divided because they failed to hold together. And as a result, that's why everybody now crying. And so all we can pray for a peaceful, transparent, inclusive election on October 10th. And we pray that people will accept the results. And if you have a problem, you use the courts. Don't take it law into your hands, because there will be consequences if you take it law into your hands. Don't think that Nigeria alone invested, I think, billions of dollars to bring peace to our country.
Now on the money, lies.
United States. Lies. We saw the people taking body bags on this country. So we should not kind of play with our country future. Prepare yourself. Election is expensive. So we pray for it. But Jackie, welcome. And we are just talking about some historical issues. And we know that there are other things trending in the news. I know today the National Elections Commission informed the public the word that the ballot ballots have arrived.
Let's congratulate the Elections Commission. I think they started doing their weekly press briefing. Today, the press briefing was very extensive. I think it's something we called for on this show. We were very strong on them, saying that they had to inform the people. And I thought today the press conference was very extensive. A lot of questions were answered. And so we commend the Elections Commission for doing that. This is what we do in a democracy. And let me also commend the Unity Party. I was very hard on the Unity Party here for threatening all this brouhaha. And today I saw that they've utilized the legal process in our country. They've gone to the Supreme Court to mandate the Elections Commission to release the FRR. That is what we should be doing.
Look Judas, can't join us tonight.
Join the show. That is what we need to do. That is how we need to approach these things. No more will we study war. No more will we beat war drums. No more. Look, and let me say this. I'm not against protests. I'm all for peaceful assembly of our people. If you want to assemble peacefully. Because where your right begins is where the other person's rights end, and where your right ends is where the other person's rights begin. But we need to temper the temperature down in the country, because whoever wins these elections will be our president. Whoever's elected in the national legislature will be our representatives, and our democracy will live on, and we will go out there and celebrate. After these elections, you will see people will come together. And all the cussing, like I said, I think social media has just made it a little worse, but I think the temperatures will come down. But I want to commend the Unity Party for making the decision to go to the courts. That is the process. You go to the courts, the Supreme Court will make a decision, they will render an opinion, and the National Elections Commission will be obliged to follow. Jackie McCay, come in.
Well, thank you.
I know you didn't expect that, but it's okay. You see, that's the thing about me. That's the thing about me. I'm like your porcupine God. Your kid throw me away, but that's the thing about me.
I couldn't help but laugh there. Welcome to our viewers in Liberia and across the world.
Thank you, Jackie. We didn't even welcome the people. You see, you the mother, you the sister on the show. You know, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Jerehina Vasco Japate. Welcome to the closing argument. See a lot of Sierra Townsend, Alex Nimley, Boy Lofa Juniors, David Lawrence Sumo, Isaac Tucker, Thompson B. Boss, Chala Washington, Chris Fiso, James Dixon. Everybody, welcome to the closing argument. Yeah, I mean, hey, we are so close to election now, as things are winding down, people are excited, people are nervous, emotions, like you say, is all over the place right now. And I'm like any other citizen wants a peaceful, fair, and transparent election. And to you, Ben, thank you for that acknowledgement. It is what democracy is about, using the court system. We saw in 2017 when Councillor Brumskine led the opposition over there.
I signed all those documents, right?
Oh, you did?
But I'm not chairman.
Oh, yeah, you were chair. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And this is what was done, by you, by the others as chair, by you as chair, the stand-up bearer of Liberty Party, and the other opposition parties, Unity Party, the other opposition parties that sent statements out there, and we saw the court work that day. And let me say this to the public. Despite all the talks that's going on among the political parties, some we disagree with, some we don't. Yes, on shows like this, we may shout. There may be crossfire moments, heat of the moment. Sometimes we say things that we don't mean to each other. We fix it in the back. But to our Liberian people, the average citizen out there, talk is okay. Even if we're screaming at each other, it's okay. It's okay. Even if we say the wrong thing to each other, it's okay. Because eventually we'll fix it. What is not okay is any form of violence. Going to the court is okay. And if we are in communities and we see arguments heating up to the point where there could be violence, somebody in that room or in that community should do everything to stop that violence. We don't want any violence in this electoral process. Like Ben said earlier today, Unity Party filed a petition 2 months ago. CPP, was it 3 months ago?
Yeah.
CPP filed a petition, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I commended, Mariah was on the show that day. I commended CPP for doing what they did, because this is our democracy. You use the court system. To all the young people out there, don't get anybody to tell you to go commit a crime by committing any act of violence. Zero violence. We should not condone it.
Thank you. Wow.
Any means necessary, we should not condone violence.
Wow.
The answer is the courtroom. The answer is yes. And in our constitution, you can march, but we should do so peacefully.
Yeah.
We should do so peacefully. We have had 14 years of civil war. We have had the 1980 coup d'etat. And we have had other situations in between there. It's time that we do what we need to do. Nobody say you shouldn't speak out, but let's use the right means to do so.
Yeah.
Let's walk to the courthouse if we have to, walk to neck if we have to. It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
But there should be no throwing stone. There should be no carrying casket. You carry a placard, and that placard alone, that banner, it speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks volumes.
Jackie, don't mind the people there. Don't mind it. Don't mind Trogon. Trogon, they're trying to take you off your game. The people that drama. The people that drama. Y'all don't worry. That show will be very hot. Y'all don't think everybody lovey-dovey right now. It's
Refined, Jackie. I'm always refined.
Jackie, don't mind Trogon. Don't mind Trogon. But you're right.
This message is just for all of us.
Yeah.
When I'm fussing with Ben fussing with me, Keff fussing with me, Mariah fussing with me. Tomalin, he the only one who doesn't fuss with me.
But you're right, Jackie. And I remember in 2017 when we made a decision as a party to go to the court. And I never forget that meeting. We were in that office. And when we started receiving the evidence, right, that there were irregularities, gross irregularities, people were voting in top, people were voting in bucket. We had received pictures, all these different things. And I never forget that meeting in that conference room when Councillor Brumskine asked the executive committee across the table, what should we do? We can leave this thing and just let it be. And I remember his voice reverberating in that room. What we will not do, because there were people in the room who were saying that we should put people in the street. There were people who were arguing, Councillor, we can organize people and we can put people in the street and the people will cancel this election. And he said, what we will not do is to abort the democracy of our country. He said, we will test the system. We will push the system. His exact words. He said, we will push the system. We will push it to the limit. And in the end, this country will be better off. And so when we made the decision to go to court, and I never forget when we went and we got that injunction, because we prayed the court to put a stay order on the runoff. And Councillor Brumskine, the legal team worked overtime to put he decided that he was also going to be on it, because even though he was the presidential candidate, he decided he was also going to serve on the legal team because he could practice before the Supreme Court. I'm telling you, when we put that case together and we went to the Supreme Court, at first we went to NEC, because that's the process. We went to NEC. Jackie, you will not believe this. 2 days of proceeding. Guess, you know who was the first witness? Me. I was the first witness on the stand. It was me, it was Musa. We had a whole list of witnesses. While Musa was on the stand, because I had done my testimony, I had given my evidence, while he was on the stand, drama erupted in the court, in the hearing at the Elections Commission, Tomalin. Who walked in? Who walked in the room? Councillor Vanny Sherman. Vanny Sherman at that time was with the Unity Party. He was the lawyer for the Unity Party.
Strong lawyers, though.
Look, it was, this is history, I'm telling you. It was the battle of the giants, the legal giants. You had Councillor Frank Musa Dean, who is the Justice Minister and Attorney General today. He was the lawyer for National Elections Commission. Frank Musa Dean was going against Brumskine. The next thing we looked, they opened the door, and Vanny Sherman came with a piece of paper in his hand and asked the sheriff, he handed it over to the presiding officer. And the presiding officer read the paper. And what was on that paper? The Unity Party had decided to join the Liberty Party to challenge the legitimacy of the polls. And so Brumskine and Sherman, two lawyers who never saw eye to eye, they could never agree on anything. Those two lawyers merged and formed a team. and pled that case before the National Elections Commission. The National Elections Commission ruled against us. And the moment they ruled against us, we announced that day that we were praying the Supreme Court. And that the Supreme Court, we were going to be praying for the Supreme Court to go ahead and put an injunction and to put a halt on the runoff. We went to the Supreme Court. After the Supreme Court heard from our side, the majority of the bench made a decision that they were going to put a hold on the November 8th runoff. That's why the runoff in 2017 happened in December. Because the Supreme Court said that we had legitimate grounds and legitimate issues for them to hear our case. That marathon lasted for, I think, a month and a half. Every single day. The country was on edge. Commend the CDC too. Now President George Weah, then Senator George Weah. We had a delegation fly in, ECOWAS leaders. Alpha Conde, former president of Guinea. Faure Gnassingbe, Togo. Yaya Boni, Benin. Mohamed Ibn Chambers. High-powered delegation. We met at the Boulevard Hotel. It was only chairpersons, standard bearers, and vice standard bearers were allowed.
Tell them, Ben. Let them hear you, man. That you been on big tables. Tell them.
You know, look, and I remember President Sirleaf, because part of the argument was that we were fair with President Sirleaf. We said that President Sirleaf did all kind of things. I said it's just funny how our politics go. And I remember when President Sirleaf when she walked in the meeting that day. She walked over to shake Councilor Brumskine's hand. He didn't want to shake her hand. And Alpha Conde told her, but you gotta shake the president's hand. But I remember all of that. In the end, they tried to get us to pull the thing out of the court, but we stood our ground. We said, if history would judge us, let the Supreme Court render their opinion. And guess what happened with George Weah? George Weah was in that meeting. He stood up. Now Vice President Taylor and Nathaniel McGill was the national chair of the CDC was there. And he said, we will respect the Unity Party, the Liberty Party right to go through this process. And guess what did he do? He went and he called for calm. If you remember, CDC were organizing programs at the headquarters. Ludo game. There's a famous video of Joey playing Ludo.
I knew that.
It was an attempt, and he did it because he said he had to keep his partisans at bay.
He's like,
in the end, Tomalin, the Supreme Court rendered their opinion.
But let me ask a question right there. Tell me, be honest about
I was in the courtrooom that day.
You was, Jackie. Yeah.
I even posted on the Facebook.
Without time that during that hearing that before the verdict came, that they wanted to, that something happened, and they said that JMB said because he was sure that he was going to win the runoff, so he decided not to continue to pursue, and then legal means, because he was sure you already thinks, well, once I go to the runoff, we are obedient. But it is true that JMB undercut the rest of the guys. Be honest with me.
Yeah, listen, there are certain things that I'm not going to say, but there was a lot.
I know that one.
There was a lot of conversations that went on in the back. There were a lot of attempts to take the process out of the court, right? Because let me tell you, one of the fears they had was that the case was just going to go on, and we would have arrived at a constitutional crisis, because there is a time frame for all these things. Ellen tenure was supposed to end in January.
Exactly.
But guess what? The vice president of Liberia was a candidate. Was also a candidate. Guess what? Also was happening, right? This is the line of succession, right? That the president, the vice president, the speaker, right? The speaker of the house was a candidate. He was the vice presidential candidate. Right. So there was all this talk about what will happen if there is a constitutional crisis. Are we looking at an interim arrangement? All of these different things. But I can tell you, Tomalin, It was one of the most interesting and learning experiences of my life. Being in the midst of all these men and women and listening to them and participating and being a part of history. Every day after the court process, when I walk outside the courtroom, you will see a swarm of journalists because I was tasked with the responsibility to brief the media. Guess who was standing right next to me? Senator Dara Dillon. He was my vice chair for political affairs. He was always there right next to me. And we always used to brief the country and say, listen, at the end of the day, we are only exercising our constitutional right. We believe we are aggrieved, and this is what we end up. But I can tell you, Tomalin, there was a lot of backdoor conversation, a lot of things where there are a lot of movements, a lot of things. But in the end, they rendered their opinion. They decided. Listen, the Supreme Court virtually agree with everything Liberty Party said.
Yes,
literally agree with everything. That's when the famous Kabina Jane dissension came in.
Yeah.
Kabina Jane was the only justice who descended and said that we should cancel the election and there should be a rerun. So he descended, so he was allowed to read his entire dissension. That man read his dissension for 2.5 hours.
I remember.
And because it had to, when you dissent, the country have to hear where dissension, and he outlined everything. But the majority had his way, and the minority had his say. And when we left from the Supreme Court, Councillor Brumskine took what was described as the most difficult ride of his life. He drove back to the Liberty Party headquarters and addressed the nation with those famous words that even though I fundamentally disagree with the decision and opinion of the Supreme Court, but I respect it. And so that the Liberty Party was going to now drop its arms and allow the democratic process to take its course. And he wished Vice President Joe Boyka and Senator Weah well as they go and compete for the presidency. So these are just some of the historical things, and it's good for sometimes for people to understand these things. And that's why when I hear people getting all hyper, it doesn't mean their concerns are not legitimate. It doesn't mean that some of the issues that are being raised by the Unity Party is not legitimate. That's why I say today I smiled because I knew my country had an opportunity again today when I saw the document that the Unity Party had gone to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will hear it because it's an election matter, so it takes precedence over everything else that they're doing. And they will come up with an opinion. So let's take Roland Guinea, my favorite Unity Party. No, my second favorite Unity Party is Jackie's my favorite Unity Party.
At that time, Roland Guinea was deputy administration.
Jackie's my favorite Unity Party. Now you, Roland, you're my second favorite.
Look at that. Jackie were making that money. They were making big money.
Roland was deputy for public administration.
Roland and Jackie were making big money those days.
Jackie Bash, you're on the expert.
Careful. Now Peabody talking. I'm careful. Don't be forced on careful.
No, I thought it was Keff because I heard Keff voice. I like Keff. So I anybody who speak it sound like a male voice. I think it's Keff. So I thought it was Keff. But it's good to be back. Good to be back.
Hello, Jackie, how are you?
Oh,
and we were just providing service. That's all.
Well,
we were providing service to the nation.
Can I say something real quick? I'm not sure if the law schools, I'm sure they use that example of 2017, Ben.
Of course.
Roland, if you are aware of it, in the classroom, because these are things that's supposed to be taught in the classroom when people are looking at case study, and have students debate case like in the 2017 election case when the case was filed to the Supreme Court. And moments like this, we need to stress it to the public so that people know the alternative to disagreement. That these are okay. And people out there should not criticize people, because if you understand, then you will not criticize. If you understand that when you have a disagreement, you go to the court. When you have a disagreement with your government, you stand up and you go to neck. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, even though you may be on another party, belong to another party, or whether or not you're the incumbent. It just means that we are exercising our constitutional rights. We are following the Constitution. And these are steps to follow. It's okay. It's okay to do these things so that people understand that it's okay. Because there are some who may be critical and then let the public know that, this is not okay. No, this is the law. And that's what we are doing.
But it's important that when
Go.
regardless of what side of the political divide you find yourself, if anybody issue made a threatening comment towards the process, we should condemn it. I mean, unreservedly condemn it. You shouldn't even play with it to spin it with politics in it, because it affects the entire process. That's why we say if somebody issue a threat, you condemn it in strong terms, because if you don't do it, it has a propensity to people will pick it up and run with it, and the next thing people start to say, and so that's why recently, Mr. Giddings, you from the United Party, were concerned about the recent comments made, but again, instead of trying to clarify it, some people were trying to double down on it, and that was the problem people had. Maybe as an official deputy spokesman for the United Party campaign team, you on the campaign show, I'm sure you have some answers to the Liberian people to address it. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Well, let me say this again. I know all of us know who Ambassador Barker is. I mean, Ambassador Barker has not been somebody who's been involved in any kind of violence, any time in the history of this country. So his statement would never be a statement that would look to, building up a conflict or create that kind of violence that may bring the country to its knee. He spoke in context, and it's that, of course, we're in politics now, so there will be some kind of interpretation about it differently based on the context in which he spoke. We were looking at what has happened or what is happening to the country currently, in terms of the image of the country. And I will say this. The image of the country has been dampened. If you look at our image internationally, especially when it comes to quote unquote the way we are managing our passport, alone say that we're in trouble. Our passports are now in the hands of criminals. Our passports are in the hands of people who shouldn't have it, especially our diplomatic and official passports and even ordinary passports. So the image of the country, Liberia has been seen as a conduit for drugs. I mean, over the short period of time in the last 5 years, there's too much of drugs, accusation about what's happening in the country, and this is concerning. So Ambassador Barker speaking to that was about, look, anybody who win the election, for example, should win the election fairly. If citizens win the election fairly, we're good with that. We believe in the rule of law. Rule of law is one of the pillars that we have in our platform. I don't think we're going to go outside of what the law says. But if there's an attempt to rig the election, then there will be some issues. And I think he was raising that to say, if that happens, then, we're going to have a country that's not going to be existing, because at the end of the day, you're still going to have a country that is going to perish in terms of what's happening with our passport, what's happening with drugs, and what's happening, with the governance and all of the other issues you can see that is breaking problems in the country. The country has been accused of overall as a government now of extrajudicial killing, which is in report. The United States government reported that says that the country has deteriorated in many aspects, and he spoke in that context. I don't think Ambassador Barker is speaking to say that there won't be no country. You can't say that, because in that point to say there will be no country, nobody, we fought war here for 14 years. There is still a country called Liberia. So he was never speaking in that context. And one of the things we need to look at, and it's good that we already filed the rate today, because there was a group of people, I don't know who's that, and I ascribe that to the CDC. I've been going around taking voter information, taking the voter numbers, taking all the information, and to do what we don't know, because we have evidence of that. People asking people for that. We also know that when they did the complete registration process and realized that there was duplication, we thought that having identified duplication of almost 30,000 persons, the voter roll, in terms of the number in certain counties will decline. To date, it's still higher than even what it was previously. These are the concerns that we have raised. To date, the FIR has not been published. It should be 1 month before the elections. These are major concerns, and it's good we have issued a writ of Madama with the Supreme Court, so that the Supreme Court can look at this and take it seriously. And I'm surprised that even other opposition parties, including the ruling parties, are concerned about that, because the publication of the voter roll should be all of us concerned. because the ruling party itself should be concerned that the voter roll should be published. You know, the election commission is supposed to be independent, as far as I know, independent of even the ruling party. So all of us should be concerned. Now, it is only Unity Party to an extent that's really concerned about the final voter registration roll not being published. This should be concerning. So it was in that context that he spoke. And I don't think it's about trying to create any kind of insurrection here. No, it never happened. The Prince Johnson people talked about it. They said when President we have become president, that there will be war. There have been no war here. You know, and I think, you know, Senator Johnson, yes, he been somebody who participated in the crisis, you know, and left the crisis since 1991, came back to this country. I haven't heard anything of him being involved in any kind of conflict, anything that would have brought instability to the country over the last 20 years. So yes, there will be this conversation, and it may sound threatening, but I don't think the intent is to bring our country down. All of us love this country. So now we are going through the process. We are going to the court. We hope that CDC can join us. You know, I see that we all can get on the election commission back. The CPP can also do the same, so that the voter roll is published. Because if that is published, it gave all of us the time, you know, to review it. It also gave us the time to prepare. Because don't forget, our poll watchers are supposed to be at the different polling centers, and we're supposed to print that voter roll out and give it to our poll watchers to have it. And it's complicated. It's a large document. You got 5,000 plus center, so we need time to do this. Okay, and so I think it makes sense that we've gone to the court. I hope the Supreme Court will do what it should do, for what the law is, and we're asking the CDC and even the CPP to join us. It should be a concern too. It shouldn't just be Unity Party concern. We're not the only people who are going to participate in the election. You're also participating. So I will ask that Peabody, CPP, and others can, you know, see reason to also join us. Let's pressure, you know, the NEC and make sure they can publish the FRR.
Well,
thank you.
Okay, but the issue is that I mean, I know people and Keff, I know they will respond. I definitely will respond. But people, they will just get you saying you haven't said nothing yet.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody on this thing. Very good to see everybody. But I think it is too late now that Roland is coming out and trying to say that the president, I mean, the VP did not mean what he said. He didn't mean that there will be no country. I think it's late. You guys should have come out immediately and say that, you know, trying to put, I think the VP knew exactly what he was saying. That's no joke when somebody comes and says, if you cheat,
day after that.
If you cheat, there will be no country. And then it's trying to flip it now and say that he didn't mean it, he didn't mean that. But I saw you talking about a lot of things. Here's my problem here, folks. When folks talk about people were killed, passports getting missing, didn't all this happen in the UP government when UP was in power? Did not happen? You know, and that's what I get concerned about, you know, because you're running here, like, you probably want to go on a different message that will really grab the voters. But what you're saying here now is the same thing that happened on the 12-year leadership. So if I was a undecided voter, what would I even, what message? This is not a message, you know, because everything you're saying, I think like people want to hear a new message. You talk about others will join you guys now as you guys go to the court and all of that. But did you talk to them? Did you invite the CPP and say, hey, you know, this what's going on? You know, we are the opposition. Let's go there, engage the NAC for what is going on. You people always go on your own. You're always rolling on your own, and that's some of the problem I have, because opposition should be united. They should be together in fighting. But none of you guys are together. You know, you, especially the UP, they are like on their own. They go and do it. They are the nation favorite. You know, they claim to be.
Hey, don't name us like that. But that's not what we say.
You know, a few that y'all can always do that. But the only concern is there a way the message going to be changed? Because it's difficult now. I'm undecided. I'm going to vote. I want to vote in Liberia. I need a message that will convince me to say, you know what, I'm going to vote for the United Party. But as you were speaking, everything passport, Expo, Ellie, X to CDC, and pretty much the same old thing. I can't convince me as an undecided. I want you to convince me. You know that. That's my point.
Yeah, but that year from Keff, come in, man. Come in. Drum the constitution.
Roland.
Interesting.
But let me say something, Kev, before you come in 30 seconds. So, you know, Roland, you need to speak more for the Unity Party. I think you do the Unity Party a lot of justice, just for the record. But go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
No, I think Jackie do a lot of the justice.
No, I'm not talking about Jackie. Jackie, that member of closing argument. I'm talking about
Now Roland. Because what Roland doing is he just putting a lipstick on a pig.
Jesus. There you go.
That's what you're doing. A pig always a pig. And stop doing that. Stop doing that, Roland. The Pape understand exactly what he was saying. He understand that. Because he always in a meeting with the ex-general, PYJ. He following what PYJ is saying. Arab Spring, we will do this, we will do that, we have men. And remember, Dillon said the same thing. You're not know where guns will come from. That exactly was what the Unity Party, the Pape meant to say, what the Unity Party stand for. You know, that notion that if we don't win, you rig the election, it's not going to fly in that country. So you wonder why people now listen to you guys, because we will never go down that dark Liberia that you guys want to bring. So my way, the country is for us. The people love the Pape. Even though today in Nimba, in Lofa, people coming out, no. The people love the Pape. So I see why JB up to 85 years old, he still think that he gotta be president, because his mind. That's what he put in his mind. That's why he's feeding into his hypothalamus.
Wow.
I'm gonna break that thing down. Break it down, please.
Keff brought his dictionary out.
That's the that's the thermostat of the human body. So what happens is he regulates his mind. He regulates his body.
Medical man talking.
Okay.
So he feel that that's the way to go. But you own Liberia. We will respect the voice and the vote of the people.
Exactly.
The will of the people. That's what we stand by. So you can't come. You cannot be the judge. You cannot be the judge to say.
We're going to the court. We're going to the court.
Who you rig the election? Let me tell you what Joe Buckeye did to Akara's grade. When Akara's grade said, Beta Liberia, if you rig this election, Beta Liberia, you know what Joe Buckeye did to Gray? He locked him up.
Look at
That's what Buckeye did to Akara's grade. You know that.
I will remind you of this show, yeah.
You know that. And you know what also Joe Buckeye did? They opened fire on innocent protester at the CDC headquarters. Do you want me to play the tape? We lost our party.
Play the tape.
Yeah, no. We're not gonna play that. No, we can't. Because of Facebook, we can't play.
Oh, okay. Kev won't play his tape. Go ahead, Kev.
No, so for you to come here and say he said if. You know who said
But he said that.
You know who said if that you didn't get a chance? That's all my girl. He said if you did not get that man chance, you went after him.
Oh.
Liberia, you guys, you don't own Liberia.
That's a Kevin's going somewhere.
You don't
Went after McGill, like how? How we went after him? I need to hear that story.
Okay, now it's amnesia kicking in.
Yeah.
They kick it in.
I accept that.
No, they don't remember. All of a sudden, they don't remember. They always tell you, they don't remember.
Yeah, I agree. No, how we went after McGill? I'll need to know that.
Well, McGay used that word if. You don't say party. They were all over the country calling for the neck of Nathaniel McGill.
You're very interesting guy.
Come on now. Everybody here know that. Even my brother Lofa Julius attacked McGill on that issue because of if. So if you bring that same if here, I don't think people like Lofa Julius that will buy into that if you're coming with.
We're currently in the courts. I think that's
what you guys want to do is you want to let the Liberian people, you want to put that in the minds of the Liberian people saying, hey, only us can win. No, the CPP cannot win. Who dare you? You can't win. No, Joe, you're a bad person. You can't win. Only us. We got news for you. Unity Party will not win election.
But I don't think it's wrong to be confident, if you go into a process and say we'll win. We said we'll win.
Okay, so
JMB will never be president in Liberia. I rest for now.
Okay, let me Lofa join the conversation.
I think I'm muted.
No, you're not.
I think I'm muted.
Well,
all right. Let me first of all apologize for the mere fact that again, I'm driving, but I did not want to just turn down the invitation. I felt like I needed to come on here, not to be disrespectful to the audience, and I'm pretty sure everyone would be concerned about my life, but I'm okay. It's just I'm caught up in the traffic, so hopefully I may at some point in time get off the platform and then come back later. But I wanted to use this opportunity, to say to Jackie, wow, you literally wowed me tonight. Of all the times I have listened to you, and I must admit this to you that, I support you from the back. I admire your courage to sit among, these men and remain consistent with your support, regardless of how it comes, whether it is from Keff Hassan, it's from Ben Sanvee, anybody else, you remain consistent. But one thing you did tonight is you distance yourself from the political idea, the whole political driven speech, and you set yourself as a Liberian, a patriot, one who believes in the silence of the guns and that of people constitutional mandate. And I want to say I applaud you. Thank you. Read the comments under here when you're done and see how many people really appreciate you for the mere fact that you could be courageous enough to acknowledge the fact that people who are alarming these statements of, violence in our country should have no place in our body politics. It is disrespectful to the people they are asking to serve. But most importantly, you will think that after several years of civil unrest, where the lives of innocent citizens were taken away, we will still hear the likes of Prince Johnson, Honorable Boycott, of all people, which I will address, separately from Prince Johnson and other people, to continuously make these kind of, statements that don't sit right with a lot of us who feel like Liberia deserve better. I want to say thank you for at least being courageous enough to come to that point. Now I'm hearing your partisans want to come out and say he used the word if. Look, let's be honest to ourselves. This is again where I continue to say
we're concerned about you driving and talking, please. I'm just looking at your car and not listening to you.
I'm praising you for you're not going to say.
I give up on you, man. I give up on you, Jackie. Whatever I'm praising you, you're not going to say my people.
I beg you. Thank you so much for your comments. Yeah,
so you
talk.
So you take the compliment, but you're not listening to the advice. Okay, Jackie. I appreciate it. I'll be on in a little bit. I'll be on in a little bit, but thank you. I'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Yeah.
But Chairman.
Well, let me say that there.
Oh, let me back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for having me on again tonight. On this issue about the voters' rule issue, I think the very first step should have been going to the court instead of issuing any statement to the contrary, because I mean you take to the streets or you issue threats where you don't have any way out. That's of course of last resort. You don't take that first and later on decide to come back and correct it. I mean, we were in the process already of going to court on Saturday. Either Saturday or Friday, I was in Nima. Councillor Gonglo called me up and told me to work with Councillor Bomo for us to file a lawsuit on this issue. So our suit is already in the making. And probably maybe the horror boy decided that they will beat us to the chase, and that's the reason why we after issuing the threats. You know, but that was a really wrong thing to do. When you don't have any way out, then you do that stuff. You don't do it when you have options. You know, so next time it will be a good thing to exhaust your options before turning to the streets. And one person who
we didn't get in the
will not condemn. No, but you threatened to go in the streets, so that's the same thing.
No, we didn't even threaten to go in the streets.
No, when eventually, what you think was going to happen? Eventually, what you think was going to happen?
Let me point of correction. Let me help you. Let me help you quickly. You did go in the streets. Your Montserrado County Senator Dillon. I'm hearing myself.
Yeah,
also hearing myself.
Yeah. Your Montserrado County chair, that's why I went hard for Dillon on this show. Very hard. When he took young people and said that he was going to the National Elections Commission, and I call it grandstanding, because that's what he did. He didn't accomplish anything. He took some of these young people, they went there, chanting battle cries, disrupting, threatening the commission, and he took himself and went there too, making all these mistakes. Listen, come on. And so Lami is correct. You guys did go out there.
So, but also on Muhammad Ali posted on his Instagram page that they were going to NEC to demand the voter register, the voter roll. He said he posted it on his Facebook page. So, I mean, that should be a course of last resort. And one person who would never condemn another person for holding a peaceful protest, because that's one of our fundamental constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. But you exhaust the legal remedies you have before doing that. No, I didn't. I'm saying that you did. No, you put the horse before you put the cart before the horse. That's what you did. You put the cart before the horse. You should have put the horse before the cart. Yep. When you put the horse before the cart, you do not get the redress that you're seeking. Then you take the streets. The streets should always be the course of last resort. That's the point. Having said that, I mean, these elections are pivotal elections when we're talking about the future well-being of this country. Now, I've always been stressing the fact that we've gone 18 years with zero progress, or very minimum progress. 18 years, this country have gone with very minimum progress. If we want to continue in this state of affairs, we have two options that will keep us in this state of affairs, and we have 18 other options that may take us out of this state of affairs. For me, everybody know where I stand. I stand with Councillor Tiawan Gonglo because he presents the best opportunity for this country. Just before coming on the show, I was in a poor neighborhood just before coming on the show, and I have the Gonglo stickers on my vehicle, on the back of my car. And there's this kid that saw the stuff, and he exclaimed, "This is the man I'm voting for." So I stopped him. I called him over. I said, "Why?" And he said, if I start enumerating why I'm voting for Councillor Gonglo, we will not leave here today. I'm like, I mean, that's what I want to hear. And the kid started giving me reasons why he thinks Gonglo is the best person. One of the things this kid said, I don't think this kid is even more than 20 years old. Very smart kid. I gave him a call card and told him to call me again. He said the reason why he's voting for Councillor Gonglo is because Gonglo is bold. He's clear about where he stands and what he would do. Unlike other people who are like dilly-dallying, you talking about corruption and you're not sure enough, you're not sure about yourself, what you do about corruption. You clear about war crimes. He said the kid was very clear to me. The man is extremely clear about what he would do. And then he said another thing. He said when Councillor Gonglo went to the CDC headquarters recently to sympathize with them, he said that one of the things that really took him to Gonglo to say that this is the kind of leader that we need. He's not inhibited by politics. That's what we need. And the more we're fighting for this, for political positions because of what we get from it, and that's the reason why you see so much interest, because people are now sitting in the corners and calculating how many salaries they're going to be making, where they're going to travel, or what kind of delegation they will be on, what kind of car they will drive, how many homes they will build. They've already calculated these things. And that's the reason why they're prepared to kill. They're prepared to die because of these positions. Politics should not be a zero-sum game, my people. Politics should never be a zero-sum game. It should be because you want to serve. And as Councillor has consistently said, government should be a place to serve and not to steal. We have to take the passion for wealth, the passion for wanting to harm other people because of these things. We have to take it away from it. And I think that should be our mantra. We should be in this thing because we want to transform our countries. And I will just close with this one thing. In 1994, Rwanda had one of the worst issues of genocide that this war has experienced since the Second World War. That country was wrecked, it was damaged. Within 20 years, Rwanda turned a corner, and now Rwanda is a shining example. And what Rwanda shows is that our country can be transformed. Even though you look around us, our country is wrecked. With good leadership, our country can be transformed. That's what Rwanda showed. So it means that over the last 18 years, if we had serious governance that were prepared to ensure that the state was present, the country will have turned the corner and the country will have been making progress in a way that people won't be really concerned about whether they're working for government or not. We have to take the zero-sum nature of politics out of our politics, my people. We have to take it out. All these issues about trust, calculating how much money we'll make when we become government ministers, let's stop it. It's about us, especially those of us who live in this country. You know, those of us who live in the country, we should be concerned about how this country moves forward.
Okay, I want to correct something. 1 second quick. 1 second quick, Tomalin. 1 second quick, brother Lami. Whenever you're talking about Rwanda, please stop talking about the romantic side. Yeah, you're giving the wrong information. Yeah, at least talk about the sacrifices and other stuff that happened and the rule by decree also. Please explain it.
No. You see, that's a misconception. If you say, no. I'm not a fan of Kagame for staying in power longer than he should, because I don't think any human being progress should be tied to any single person. So with that respect, I have problems with him. But to say Rwanda is a dictatorship is not as people make it to seem. That's absolutely not true. There are problems here. They have issues. They deal with them. They go after the opponents and stuff like that. But to say 100% the country is a dictatorship, there are no freedoms and stuff like that, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. So let's be fair about it. Yeah, I will concede that there are problems, but they have turned the corner, and we should be hailing them for doing that.
Well, the last time I checked, Kagame is asking for, I think, a 4th or 3rd term.
You want to bring that?
Let me bring in Sylvester. Sylvester having problem with his internet. He's traveling with the president, the CDC campaign team. He's in Lofa area, so he just want to make few comments before so we can continue, so he can leave us. Sylvester, go ahead. Sylvester?
Sylvester is not Sylvester or his hand.
Money. Having some internet connectivity issue here, but yeah, let me first and foremost say to Lami that what is voting in Kigali or Rwanda is completely changed because he's going to be in power up to 80 years, right? That's unfortunate. That is not democracy. The way we democratize the system here is different from what you're saying. They start pushing out misinformation. Again, quickly to the deputy spokesperson of the CDC campaign, the Unity Party campaign. You said something clearly in this place about the statement that was clear about your own standard bearer, about the country is not being governed the real way. That's why he said no. Let me remind you, my dear brother, that your standard bearer was very emphatic in making those incendiary comments. He stated, he said, he talked about rigged elections. He spoke about this particular elections. It's not the process of we having passed. And let me emphasize time to time that those passport issues you talk about, those issues, these are isolated cases. We put into place some measure in the Bureau of Passports and Visa, that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and this government, because the president directed, and that's one of the reasons the president put into place those very stringent measures, and that's one to ensure that we clean up the process there. These are now isolated matters, so start beating those kind of misinformation around here. There's nothing like, because we talk about extrajudicial killing. Can you remind us when Michael Harrison died, was that tantamount to extrajudicial killing? When Harris Reid died, was that tantamount to extrajudicial killing? When Kilman mysteriously got missing and died, was that also tantamount to that? We'll go and name individual that also got caught up in it. Now, the recent situation that unfolded about this American Lucas guy, if that guy had died in this process, they would have said that government was responsible. That's one of the issues that unfold in our country time to time. It's just unfortunate that the security people won't be at the spot. That girl had died in the way and manner that the guy intended to execute her. That blame would have been shifted. Unfortunately, on this very the government is doing our best to ensure that we all are protected in this country. Now, I'm traveling through the rural area in this place to see. You were to leave and come to places like Lofa or Bon County that I traveled through for the past 72 hours. You get to understand that the level of governance, the president is trying to decentralize the level of governance in this country. Returning power back to the local leaders, for instance, those paramount chief, general paramount chief, local city mayors, and the rest of that, ensuring that the rules and body of this country will clinch onto the culture of this country. That's why we talk about leadership. Decentralization is very cardinal. That's what the president is doing. So the level of governance is not only strategically balanced under the stewardship of this president, he's ensuring that he was administered the basis of power so that all Liberians will ensure the rule of law is on course. If you come here, for instance, in Lofa or Bon County, that I went to, you will understand that the local police will take instructions from that of the local police commander via the chain of basic regimentation. That's the same is unfolding in the little town. The town chief, the quarter chief, the clan chief, and that's why we talk about governance. So the government is doing everything to structure those things. And now we have a society that peaceful. You can travel throughout the country. There's not more checkpoint now on the road. You travel through those areas, right? The immigration is well on course. Yesterday I visited the Guinean border, and where in the Guinean, some Guinean soldiers will move across and come into Zozo and other areas to transact. That's the kind of the sisterly relationship that government is building with that of other international partners and other neighboring partners. So there's the level of governance, the government is stable. But your standard bearer is pushing this kind of beating war drum to ensure that you threaten the democracy. He said the country will be finished. He was clear. You try to manage this thing, but you cannot fix what he said. He said the country will be finished. He spoke about the election. He didn't talk about the governance of the country. He was talking about the election. This election come October 10th. We need to stop these kind of deceptive comments and beating war drum around here. You cannot intimidate us. That's part of the reason why the president is reminding folks. The president is reminding folks across the country that I did this for you. The president did not threaten anyone. He won't threaten anybody. What the president did and what he will continue to do is to transform the livelihood of the people of this country. And that's what he's been doing. And that's what he's focused on. His campaign team is going around. And part of the reason what the president even is pushing to connect this country via rule is because of the difficulties in terms of past government neglecting this country. Those are living in the counties. And that's why the president is now removing Monrovia or Nigeria. Going 15 political subdivisions so that we structure policy. Structured policy. The prescription we have to affect the local people across the country. And that's why he's on this campaign trail. He's filming it himself, going around, disseminating good information. He's a leader that's very sensitive to the process of the part of the people of this country. And that's part of the reason why he's trying to connect this country via Ru and the rest of it. All of our countries will be connected. Will be connected and should be connected, and that's why he's structuring the process of the tournament. I will do everything to be on the show tomorrow. We're going to want to get a good connection, but I can assure you. And but the people of Lufa yesterday, briefly before I go, I'll leave the line. From Bianstan, from the simple river, Bianstan into Sai, through Gangosan, Sai, and Zozo City. I've never seen the kind of cleanup in Lufa in terms of CDC organization process ever in my political soldier. Never ever. The first time I ever associated
is that Peewee?
During the roundup. Never ever. So I think this is going to be an extraordinary work for these people. We will beat them that will beat the evening job. We're going to beat them that will beat the evening job. I can assure them on this level.
Okay.
The great Peewee.
Thank you. Well, that's Sylvester Peewee. He's embedded with the CDC campaign, where the president is on the campaign show in Lofa. And
is he in Monrovia? Peewee in Monrovia? Peewee in Liberia? Oh, he in Liberia.
Yeah,
oh,
in Liberia. Right. And already we got 14 days to go. And the American Deputy Assistant Secretary for African Affairs will be in the country tomorrow, Michael Heath, to be meeting with all the major players and to ensure that to present the United States position on the elections and ensure that the process is free and fair. And also today, the NEC chairman announced that the ballot papers are already in the country. So they will start deploying it throughout the country, I think, in the coming days, she said. And she says on a tight security, is really being protected. And the United Party today took the NEC to court. I tried calling Madam DeVito Brown before I came on the show. She said she was busy. Hopefully we'll get her tomorrow, as we always try our best. And she will answer our call. And she answered my call last week, but I hope she will respond to the lawsuit. But look, Ben, like I said, man, you've been in this business. You know this thing, how it works. 14 days. At this time in election, what do you think is happening with that? What is happening in the CDC, the United Party, the CPP, the LPP, all these parties? What's happening right now? What's happening in the room? What's happening right now?
All these things. I mean, right now is a period of just getting ready, of just putting your house in order. I think Roland alluded to the fact of getting your poll watchers ready, getting the listing, making sure all the different precincts and different polling centers, you know exactly where your people are going. One of the things that I was very impressed with today was the amount of observers that she talked about. You know, the more observers, the better, right? Because you get people who are able to go across the country. I think she said they have accredited almost 2,000 plus 2,000 plus local observers and 600 and something international observers. That number is a lot. It's huge. I mean, it shows you the level of interest that is this election. It's a huge interest in this election because this is a very crucial election for Liberia. And she also said that there are more applications that are coming. I don't think they're denying anybody, to be quite honest with you. I think that is a kudos to the National Elections Commission. I think the more the better, because it will help validate and give credence and credibility to the process. And so my only thing is that I'm hoping all of the parties are taking the issue of poll watching very serious, because you have to be at those, you have to man the polls to be able to get your tally sheets, to be able to get all of the things. Because if there is an issue, you will need those tally sheets to be able to serve as evidence for you to go to NEC, and for you, if you do go to NEC and you don't agree with what NEC say, even for you to go to the Supreme Court, because you know the Supreme Court doesn't accept evidence. They don't. The Supreme Court is going to use what NEC, what you know, and Lamy is a lawyer, so he should be able to better explain this process. But the reason I'm saying that is because I think I'm excited about that. because when you have a lot of observers, you will be able to do. Lami, I know in 2017 was a part of the election monitoring. I think you guys, Oscar Blow, right? Lami, you were a part of that group that monitored the 2017 elections. Having said that, generally, I think once the temperature has come down, it's going to get, I think we're going to have a great election. I think whoever's going to win, we will go through it. If it has to go through a legal process, there is space and there's time allotted within the Constitution and within the process, within the schedule for it to happen. But to answer your question, I think all the parties are just getting ready. I think that's what's happening right now. They're wrapping up their campaigns. I think the president is in Lofa. I believe Vice President Joe Boakai, I think he was in Bassa. I think he's somewhere else today. I'm not sure where, but they're all getting ready. Mr. Cummings is getting ready for the fixer day on the 1st. So that's what's happening. But I do know there's a lot of communication and conversations in the background about poll watching, about getting your people ready and making sure that we have that, that everybody is ready and set to go. It's an exciting time. Like I always say, Tomalin, when you think about it, it's been 6 years already. It was just the other day, George Weah was getting inaugurated as president, right? And it just tells you how these things come and they go. And I think it would be a great thing for us to have another notch. I did speak with someone yesterday, high place, a person, someone very, very high place within the diplomatic circle and also within the leadership circle. And they were very concerned about some of the temperature and some of the comments that were being made. And from what I've been told is that in the next couple of days, you will see a lot of movements with a lot of statements. You might even see an ECOWAS delegation, maybe Ibn Chamba, somebody of that magnitude will come in the country to have a conversation with all the players. It's not that they're trying to, school them, but it's just because Liberia is such a important fulcrum in the region that they cannot afford for anything to happen and for things to get out of control. But I think we're on the right path.
Well, thank you.
So Ben, let me just correct something you said earlier on.
By the way,
Tomalin, let me just correct something you said earlier on about the constitutional crisis that were resulted in 2017. There was going to be no constitutional crisis. I've heard a lot of lawyers say the same thing, and they had the misconception at the time that since the entire House of Representatives was out for re-election, the president, vice president, and stuff like that, and half the Senate, so it means that there was going to be nobody there to take over from Mr. Sirleaf if the process had gone beyond January. That's not true. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why the senatorial terms are not the same.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's not the same. Because if we are ever left with a situation like that, the leadership of the country will devolve on those 15 senators that will stay in office. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why we have that system. So there will be no situation where we'll have a power vacuum. It will not happen. Sure. Okay. But people didn't look at that part.
Yes.
And by the way, let me announce, yes, the closing argument today will receive our media pass by the NEC. So we got St. Tomalin, George, Jackie McCay, Keff Hassan, Peabody, and the guys they will put it up soon. We have an official media card from the NEC. So we're not just all the other platform and let us.
You ain't got one for Roland and Lamy.
No, I'm going to get my neck pass. I'm going to get neck pass. Yeah, I'm going to get a neck pass.
They produce the media pass and they're yet to produce the FRR.
We're on the ground. We ensure that all the FRR. We have our car. We can go anywhere all over the country. So we are accredited. So not only.
The people walking and chewing gum.
Well, if we don't get the voter roll, I don't know how we'll use the media passes.
Thank you.
Relax. We'll make it happen. Don't worry. When it's a platform kind of platform.
And I don't want to come in this.
Really, you know what Madamos means, right?
Yeah, but we don't.
You know what Madamos means. No, but you're going to mean what Madamos, right? Okay, so you've already filed it.
Yeah, but let me please educate.
We're looking up. Look it up to the Supreme.
So Madamos is basically where you ask the court to compel someone to do something that they're required to do. So that's basically what it is. So they've asked the court to compel these people to do their job. You know, so I will assume that the court is going to compel them to do their job. There's no other way to go around that.
But let me comment on that. Let me comment on that. And I listened to the Minister of Finance today, you know, and the Minister of Finance was very clear. I mean, he was very boastful for what has happened, that the National Election Commission had been provided all the resources they need. Even if it's going to be a runoff, you know, they have all the resources required to finance the runoff. So in my mind, NEC should move faster than this, because NEC has a lot to do with what happens, you know, during these electoral processes, because they are the referee. They are managing the electoral process. They must move faster. They can't be delaying. We do not have to go to the court, for example, to ask them to do what they should do. I mean, the law says that, yes, but we do not have to. And this is how, you know, some of the problem can start. And we said that they've already, you know, come up with a listing that is more than what were registered. And because of that, maybe there's taking time now how to come up with the final publication, because we see that it has been increased other than what was registered earlier. My point is, NEC should be responsible for what she does. She should try to avoid these kinds of delays, especially when the resources that they need, you know, the resources are all available. They should move faster. The chairperson has been promising the publication for weeks. And it should be 1 month before the election. Like I said, the political parties, and I don't know why the other parties are not very concerned about that, but the political parties have to get that FFR and print it out. We need to give it to our pool washers. They need to have copies at each of the centers to do verification on the day of voting. Now, you can't want to publish that 5 days, 2 days to the elections. People cannot even verify whether their names are spelled correctly on it, even if there's some kind of misspelling or some kind of omission, and you can't get that corrected, or the parties cannot, you know, get what they need to get in terms of preparation for, in case they're pool washers like us. We're trying to make sure we get our pool washers to the center in time, but the FFR has to be available to also move that logistically with them. So we are saying, you know, I understand we can go to the court. Yes, there is the court process to compel them, you know, using that rate, but the next should do better than this. We should start this. So just to publish the FRR that you used to publish, we must go to the court to compel you to do your work. I mean, I know the law says that, but next should do better than that. I hope the commission, on
the issue of people checking their names on the voters roll, I think Roland just raised that issue. I think that should be a separate issue from the FRR, right?
Yes.
In order to do that, there is a link on the NEC website. When you go to that link, you put in your voter ID number. It will tell you, it will pull all your information for you. When I went to check, because when they put the listing up for display for people to go and check, where I register, the ring had destroyed the portion of the list that my name was on. Okay. So when I went there, I looked all around, there was no stuff there. I'm like, wow. Don't tell me say the people didn't have my name there. Then someone told me that no, the other list they have over there, the ring destroyed. So my brother works for NEC, so I called him up and asked him for the link to the stuff.
I got a brother that works for NEC.
But I mean, there's no problem with that. You know, he's an expert, so he works in the area, so there's no issue with that.
Yeah, others may not have that.
But what's the big deal about that? You know, so he sent me the link. He sent me the link, but the link is on the website now. Before they had an absolute link from the previous elections, so I tried that link. It couldn't work, so I asked him, and he sent me the actual link. I checked it, and my information was there. So people should just go to the website. I don't know why maybe NEC is not really publicizing this information, but people should go to the website and check their voter information.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody will not have the ability to do that.
You got to mute
But let me ask a
question,
right?
Can I say something, Dominic?
I want to ask a question. Let me ask a question. Quick, yeah. So wait, my voter registration card, right? My picture removed. It doesn't matter, right?
Oh, how your picture removed?
I know, but
it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. You probably kept it somewhere. You probably kept it in the heat.
The second question is
he probably put it in a wallet immediately after they gave it to him. It didn't dry, and then he put it in a wallet. It nearly happened to mine. You know.
Okay, my last question is: it doesn't matter which part of Magibi I registered for. I can vote anywhere in Magibi, right?
No, you got
no. Except you're recognized pool. If you're recognized pool washer, If you're a recognized pool washer, and you are assigned to a different place, you can vote for the senator and the president if you're in the same county, but not for the representative. So that's something you got to look at.
But wait now, so wait, where I register to vote? Where I register to go to vote on
no, where you register to vote may not be the same place. They will assign you somewhere. It may be the same place. It may not be the same place. They will assign you somewhere. But for pool washers that are recognized and they are in a different location, they will allow them vote in the presidential election if it's in the same county, because the senatorial election in the county, it doesn't matter where you vote. The presidential election, wherever in the country, it doesn't matter where you vote. But for representative, it matters where you vote. So that could be the tricky part. That's what they did the last time, and I will assume they will do the same thing this time around.
I don't know.
So you see, these are some of the things. The echo is still there. These are some of the things that NEC needs to come out and clarify so voters understand, and political parties too need to educate the voters on these things. But I want to say two things. Lamin, one, you said, and the viewers are watching us, and you are a lawyer. You are a lawyer. You said that it is wrong for the people to go out there before the Supreme Court, as if in our law, it said one action should take place first before the other action take place. So I hope you correct that, because that information is not accurate according to our law. If you're just saying that, well, it would probably be a good idea before you, that's different. But people are watching us. It's important that people understand what our law says. There's nothing in the law that says you cannot go and to a government entity stand up and protest before, or you shouldn't go before you go to the court.
So Jackie, I didn't say
that at any given moment, a citizen who has grievances can organize themselves and under our law and properly go to do a peaceful protest at any government entity. You don't have to go to court. One doesn't precede the other, or vice versa. And in fact, our Supreme Court is the last last act of resort in many cases. So, but I hope you correct that, because our viewers are listening to us. Secondly, the statement with Ambassador Boyka. Again, this goes to media reporting. This statement was given 4 months ago in June. And it's amazing how Front Page Africa or other media outlets just distorted Ambassador Boyka's statement and made it seem that he was trying to say something that was against our country's code of ethics or law when it comes to peace and violence. Actually, he was talking to the supporters. And he told them, he said, don't worry, I got this statement here. I put a video in our chat room. And basically he said, don't worry about those people. They are driving all of this. And he was talking about the corruption, all the bad governance acts and stuff like that. He said they will not take those things with them like that. And that is why you need to protect it yourself. He's talking to the people. He said, if they think they will steal this election, we will not allow it, because if you, the voters who standing in front of me, if you do, that is the end of the country. And when he said that, he was talking about the act, the bad governance act that was being carried out.
But did you say 4 months ago?
It was, this video was shot in.
No, Jackie,
no. Listen,
the beginning of his video, play the video. He said market. He said 4 months today is what? It was
what Jackie just
explained.
Jackie, what Jackie just explained that I think it's a pattern. It was because he made the same statement 4 months ago. I think it's a pattern. Because I just saw it. I just saw it again with a
Let me finish, please.
So I think it's a pattern with this with what Jackie just
the video that's being circulated.
Has made this case
it was June 10 because in that same video he said mark this day. He said 4 months. He said exactly 4 months from today is what?
No, Jackie.
The crowd said October 10th.
Jackie, that should make it. Jackie, make it
worse. Jackie, can I say something? Kev.
He said October 10th.
Jackie, let me say something.
Selling them
two things you just did, Jackie. One, the video you put here 4 months ago, we were not campaigning. First thing, there was no campaign happening 4 months ago. Joe Boyka was not on no
Did you
campaign.
hear
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish,
from
Jackie.
today?
Well, let me finish. Then two things I want to correct you. We were not campaigning 4 months ago. He was not on no campaign trail 4 months ago. He didn't attend no rally in Basel 4 months ago. If he said wherever he was, if he said 4 months ago, then he probably again missed the dates. Because if he's saying if today if he spoke 2 weeks ago, Jackie, wait. 4 months from election. Let's count it. Election is October 10. What is 4 months from election?
June, July, August, September, October, around 4 months.
So you're telling me that Joe Boyka was speaking in June? Is that what you're saying here?
He said in his speech 4 months from today.
But that's what I'm saying. Then he's talking. He's speaking weeks before the election and saying that the election is 4 months away.
Oh,
is that what you're saying?
When he was speaking to some people,
Jackie. Okay, y'all play the video.
You rescue Jackie.
4 months from today.
Jackie.
What?
Joseph Human Boyka was not at no rally 4 months ago. If he said 4 months ago, that means he doesn't even know when the election is going to happen.
So
the election is happening 4 months from now. The election is happening 14 days from now. So Jackie, I'm telling you, there's no reason to double down on this.
Listen to him speak.
Jackie, y'all play the tape. And listen, I know, Jackie, he did say 4 months on that tape. He was speaking in Bassa on that tape, which was a couple of days ago. He did say 4 months.
The stand-up bearer, the video that's circulating, the stand-up bearer gave
the calendar is exactly 4 months from today.
Very good.
Today's the 10th, right? When is the election? You start checking. 4 months to the date.
Like October 10th.
After 4 months, you will see a new Liberia coming up. You will see a Liberia that will give you hope. You see a Liberia where corruption will be thing of the past.
Guys, Jackie, where was he speaking? Where is this? Do you know where this is?
Where is it, Ben?
I'm asking you. You brought it.
When JMB gave this speech, it was given in Bon County, his original speech.
Jackie, was he in Bon County 4 months ago?
No, a few weeks ago. Last weekend he was in Buchanan. This past weekend he was in Buchanan.
So are you saying he missed speaking here? He doesn't know the time when election is going to be held? Is that what you're saying here, Jackie?
What do you mean he doesn't know
the
time?
He just said on the tape 4 months. He said y'all counted. He didn't say it one time. He said y'all counted. How far is it from election? 4 months.
Jackie,
he was speaking weeks ago.
Roland, why you signing for Roland?
But this is not for Grand Bassa. This is not for Grand Bassa. Okay, I don't remember exactly where he's from, but he was still visiting some areas when he spoke about that. Now he can be saying 4 months is maybe 14 days. 14 days. So Jackie may miss out. Jackie may miss out on the date. Okay, but that was not in Grand Bassa. The video you played, Jana, was not in Grand Bassa. Don't forget, the vice president had been visiting different districts and different counties prior to the elections. We're doing that even prior to the election. He was doing some visitation. May have been one of those places we can find out, but it's not Grand Bassa. It's not Grand Bassa.
Roland, okay, I concede that not Grand Bassa. Let me concede just for argument. Name me one county Joseph Boyka visited in June where he attended a political rally. In June, because June is 4 months away from October. Like Jackie counted. Name me one county 4 months ago. Joseph Boyka was not on no campaign trail. He was not on no campaign.
We visited a few places.
Jackie, Joseph
the campaign trail, the campaign officially, the campaign. Before the campaign officially opened, the vice president was doing visitation. Before the campaign officially opened, he was doing visitation. Even when we went up to Campley, that was way prior to when the official campaign started. I don't know exactly when it was, but
we need to know.
Yeah. I will look at the video. Yeah, we can check that out. I don't know exactly where it was, but it was not in Grand Bassa. It's not in Grand Bassa. It was not in Grand Bassa.
But it was not in June. He was not speaking in June. That video is not in June.
Guys, you're forgetting one
Well,
thing.
we can verify that. We can verify that, but it's not
Four
it.
months ago.
I think that what Jackie is raising is what he said, and that the focus was not. Kev, we always hear that thing. We always hear that thing about cognitive and all that thing. Let's leave that because President William himself got issues with remembering things. In fact, there's a lot he doesn't even know. So leave that cognitive thing, okay? President William himself got issues with even remembering some very key things. As young as he is, there's so much he can't remember he doesn't know. So let's start that cognitive thing. Because President William says challenge. President William says challenge. He challenged with a lot, and you know that.
You see.
So let's do that
This is what I don't like about unity parties. Look at what somebody is saying.
What?
4 months from September.
What you don't like about it?
January. I mean, what is this? What is this?
Who said January?
Who
said that?
Look, he addressing me. 4 months from September is in reference to January inauguration. I mean, you hear the man saying 4 months to October 10. In fact, studio, y'all play the video again, please. Y'all please play the video so we can clear this thing because I don't want Clarence.
Yeah, from election day.
Liar. I don't want him to think I'm a liar.
The point for that whole video was that JMB.
Jackie, you brought your video. Let's play the video, please. Y'all play the video.
Ben won't play the video. Ben won't play the video whole day.
From today. Today is the 10th, right? When is the election? You start checking.
Check it.
The date. After 4 months, you will see a new Liberia coming up. You see a Liberia that will give you hope. You see a Liberia where corruption will be thing of the past because we're not going to do it. And don't worry about these people, they are
So you see, listen, John.
They will not take those things with them like that.
Yeah, okay. So you see,
that's why
no, Jackie, you want focus on no, we're not focusing on that. That's not what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about
Ben. We may not be able to Ben. 1 minute. We may not be able to establish tonight.
This man is a man of peace.
Oh, please.
Jackie, 1 minute. We may not be able to establish tonight. We may not be able to establish tonight where that was. So let's give it some time. Let's establish that. And we know exactly, from which perspective he was speaking.
Let me just say something. I think he referencing January. I think that January he referencing.
Yeah, it's possible. That's what I'm saying.
Let's be fair. No, let's be fair.
Because that's where you get inaugurated.
No, Ben, wait small. No, wait small. Let's be fair. I think he was referencing January because he said. He said today. Wait small. He said today is the 10th. The election is going to be in October, right? He said by the time, in 4 months' time. No, you play that January talking about. He actually, you know I don't support the people. You know I don't support the people, but let's be fair to them. You know I don't support the people, but let's be fair to them. I think he referencing. You can play again, but I think referencing January. I think so.
Everybody, please pause. Studio. Everybody keep quiet. You'll let hear what people.
If you check your calendar, it's exactly 4 months from today. Today is the 10th. When is the election? You start checking. 4 months to the date. After 4 months, you will see a new Liberia coming up. You will see a Liberia that will give you hope. You will see a Liberia.
Lami. You want to retract your statement?
Ben, first of all, Ben,
does Lami want to retract your statement, please?
No, Ben, let me just say something. For some reason, the video paused for me, so I didn't hear the whole thing again. But I think, let me be fair to him, I think he's referencing, he's saying that when I come to power in January, there will be no more corruption, blah, blah, blah. That's what he's talking about. So let's be fair to him, let's be fair to him. Let's be fair to him. Let's give it to him.
Okay,
no, he's not saying 4 months from today there will be elections. That's not what he's saying. He's saying 4 months from this time there will be a new government. That's what he's saying. So let's give it to him. Let's give it to him.
Let's give him chance. Overcoming.
First of all, again, Lami, this man clearly said 4 months to the date. To the date.
He did not say what you trying to insinuate. He
man.
said 4 months to the date. If you play it again, you will listen to that.
He even said October 10.
Thank you.
October.
Play again.
Lofa, can we play again? And after that, we come to you. Studio, please. Everybody keep quiet.
Until we can establish where he was speaking, which I don't remember, we're going to get this sorted out.
Roland, I won't be charged you today. Let's play our
Yeah, play and tape.
If you check your calendar, it's exactly. If you check your calendar, it's exactly 4. If you check your calendar, it's a month from today. Today's the 10th, right? When is the election? You start checking. 4 months to the day.
What is the
date?
But let it roll. Don't stop it there. Let it roll. Let it roll. Don't stop it there. Don't stop it there. Let it roll.
After 4 months, if you check your calendar, it's exactly 4 months from today. Today's the 10th, right? When is the election? You start checking. 4 months to the date. After 4 months, you will see a new Liberia coming up. You see a Liberia that will get.
Lami, you want to retract?
Yeah, no, he's referencing the inauguration. I don't support the people, but that be fair. Let's be fair. I don't support the people, but that be fair. You know?
My last reference to you, because I think we got time on it. My last reference. Let me mute yourself, please, because you're getting us feedback. He also said, today is what day? They said today is the 10th.
The 10th.
What is happening on the 10th? Inauguration is not January 10th. It's October 10th. He said it. He said, count the days.
I mean, yourself, man.
Count the days. Listen, I'm waiting to
4 months after that day.
What I'm trying to do here is for Jackie and Roland, who like the Unity Party is the party of spinning. Once again, they put their foot in their mouth.
4 months after October 10th.
Wait, Roland, you come in. Roland, you will come.
February.
Thank you. You will come, Roland.
Roland, in February.
In the effort, and Lami, I know you try to help them just now. It's okay. We are in the opposition. We can help each other. I agree. What I'm trying to say is the attempt to spin this thing. Once again, Roland and Jackie, I tell Jackie all the time to be careful with the Unity Party boys and what they send her on the show. Once again, the attempt to try to spin
Ben
this
is having some fun tonight.
Wrong, they can't talk 4 months basically. The man said on the 10th, inauguration is not January 10th. He said count it. October 10th. He asked the people, he said, when is the election? The people say October 10th. He said count a day from today. Today what day? Today is the 10th.
Inauguration is in January, my man.
That we need to look at Roland. I see
Whoever provided that information to my sister Jackie, I think they purposely did it to ruin the day that she started with. Great day, and then all of a sudden they just start to ruin it with that information that is not accurate. But anyway, if
you're surprised,
Jackie, let Lofa talk. Jackie, you want that Lofa to go in his studio? He in his studio now. Let Lofa talk.
Yeah, Lofa talk now.
Yeah, I think sure.
Let him talk.
Jackie, let him go ahead.
She's even frozen now.
She's frozen. She's frozen.
Yeah, I'm also.
They said you have more videos before intro. I don't tell you about Roland there. He said Roland was that quiet. I don't tell you about the board.
Ben, you gotta leave the people alone.
Ben, you tell nothing.
Putting a spin on JMB's statement.
So, but in reality, though, Jackie, after listening to the video, you watched the video, and
did you hear anything about violence?
Yeah, Jackie, we're not talking violence right now. We're talking October 10th. We're not talking violence right now.
That whole message was about peace.
Okay. So, in regards to
made other team go viral. That's all you other do.
Yo, Ben, leave it for a little bro. You're not. Jackie, don't worry about Ben. You just have to sleep. It's okay. After it all, you're doing good.
Don't be taking time from Fagone. I know the boys. Trust me. I know the boys. They'll put you in trouble.
Yeah, Ben have it. Ben
the whole
have it
point
all
of
the
that
fun now.
message is that JMB
Brother, you know him,
gave a peaceful message at that place. The media, the anti-JMB people want to twist and make it seem like he was saying something that was not peaceful.
Okay, yeah, he said
Jackie,
everything peaceful.
So Jackie, what is peaceful about a person insinuating that the election will be rigged, and if it happens, there will be some kind of violent consequence to the
I
result?
said to play the tape to the end. I don't know what
no,
said because he never said anything.
We have listened extensively. I think we have listened.
No, the tape, which was not fair to me. You put that tape back and play it to the end. He was speaking to the people. He said, y'all don't allow, y'all go out and vote.
Okay, we agree.
We agree.
No, we don't. No, no. You can take the United Party slogan, we agree. I would not agree. Don't say we. I agree. Don't say we. Say you agree.
They can say we agree.
Jackie, here is it, right?
But we gotta move past this. I think we should move past this.
Why you want to move past this? Y'all introduce evidence in the courtroom. We try to exhaust the evidence.
He said you should protect your own vote. Don't allow anything to happen to your vote. Okay. Because if you do it, all the bad governance that you're being experiencing, the poverty, hardship, kuch, and stuff. He said, if you're
the coach and all that, exactly.
That's what JMB was saying in his speech. He's telling the people the responsibility is to vote. He said, y'all make sure y'all go vote and don't allow them to take your vote away from you.
And if they do,
if you the people who standing in front of me, if y'all don't go out and vote,
then she coming again. She brought
herself. No, Jackie, one of the most difficult things to do.
If y'all don't allow it to end, the drug situation will get worse. The corruption will get worse. The poverty will get worse. The hardship will get worse.
And
all these things.
And you may not have a country to be whole.
Good for the country. For y'all.
Okay.
That's what he said.
So who will affect us not having the country?
The idea of Reagan.
He's telling the voters to carry out their constitutional rights to go vote. That's basically the moral to that story. That's all JMB was saying.
So Jackie, we're not in a courtroom here, and I know
JMB is a very peaceful person, man. We all know that.
Probably the only attorney in here or counselor in here is probably, I think, Lamy. Again, I'm not a legal practitioner.
They attempted to hire Lamy on the defense team.
Right, I'm not a legal practitioner, but here's the reality, right? It is difficult to.
No, but we're
Lamy is objective.
You gotta be a lawyer for that.
Okay, it is difficult for one to defend such a statement, especially when it's glaring. I don't have to have sat in class to even.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it can be defended.
Yes, of course you can defend it because it will actually be in your interest because you're trying to be deceptive. I agree. You can go ahead and try to defend it. But the common people like myself understand better than to buy into this idea of deceptive politics where the reality is glaring and you want to sway the narrative. No, he was upfront about what he intended to say. He was, again, this was not one of the situations where George Lobo had to stop this old man and tell him what to say in the public forum disrespectfully, and then
the vice president. The ambassador Barker, the former vice president.
Okay, the former vice president. Okay, if that no point intended.
Yeah,
they need to be disrespectful.
Thank you.
Honorable Joseph Boykai.
You don't know if I supported VP Boykai in 2017, just for the record.
Honorable Joseph Boykai, right? Openly.
Again,
yeah, I agree, but still, at least just address him like that.
CDC now?
No, I don't support any political party. I'm independent in my thoughts, and I don't think. And with the fact that you're even asking that question, that's why
taking you off guard, Lofa.
I know the purpose of doing this.
What do you currently support? If you don't support JMB, are you leaning towards CPP, ANC?
But Jackie, another time for an interview if you want to inquire about that aspect of it. But I think tonight is purposely to discuss part of the current event, not just part, but actually the current
I was
event.
only responding to you. The only reason why I brought that video because you talked about it.
Independent. What you forced to
Well, yeah,
I'm not talking about that again. I said the only reason I brought the video up was what Lofa Jr. said.
But I mean, it is the truth.
But that's between you. I know he will support us again. I know that for sure.
Okay, so let's be honest. Let's be honest about this, right? If we will be patriots, all right, in our decision to move Liberia forward, to transform a nation, Honorable Boyka should never be mentioned anywhere in our electoral process going forward.
Wow.
He should not be considered anywhere near the ballot box. He should actually, at this point in time, serve more of an advisor, play that advisory role going forward. Look, we are looking forward to transformation.
Who made that determination?
The options that we currently have in the race to still consider an individual in Honorable Boyka, okay, to spearhead the affairs of our nation. Again, I can't believe how much more disrespectful can the Unity Party want to be to herself and to the generation of Liberian coming up. Let me tell you something. This is what we look for in leadership. It's not an individual who intend to benefit from the nation throughout their life. What we intend to see people in leadership is the level of impact that is made. Honorable Boyka has served in government for a little over 30 some more years. I'm not going to say 40 or 50 years. I'm going to try to be just as objective and factual as to the best of my ability. Okay? Honorable Boyka has served in government for almost his entire half of his life. What impact has Honorable Boyka made on the life of the masses when he was opportune to serve, okay, in government? Not only did he serve as the vice president, what we are thinking about as the vice president of one of the greatest countries on earth with all of our resources and given responsibility, such as the management of the group of 77. Remember this. Let me remind you, Honorable Boyka's mother, okay, was a person of disability. Of all people on earth, you would think Honorable Boyka probably will have left behind some kind of precedence. He will probably left behind that image of his care for the people of this, the disabled group of people. Unfortunately for Honorable Boyka, guess what he did? He ignored them. He didn't even realize that they existed. If you are to ask yourself today, because I advocate for the people. I advocate for the people of, the people with special needs. Like my law sister will often say, don't refer to us as people with disability. Refer to us as people with special need. Honorable Boyka have no impact on the lives of those people. What is it that Honorable Boyka can do going forward? Look, Tammy Bowen of Wisconsin, you know what she did? This woman, okay, prior to her ascendancy to the Senate, her mother was a victim of drugs abuse. When she ascended to the Senate, you know what she did? She made the decision to make sure that Washington actually fought, okay, and put in place policy that benefit victims of drugs abuse. Honorable Boyka was given the group of 77. He was actually spearheading the affairs of the group of 77. Today, when our brothers and sisters look around, even the offices of political offices, let's just say, they are not easily accessible to these people. What is it that Honorable Boyka can do any different from what other people have done? At this point in our body politics, we should not be discussing Honorable Boyka as part of politics.
Thank you. We gotta
I think Lofa has spoken very well based on what he thought, what he believed. I think you need to give us time now to speak to what he spoke about. To say that Ambassador Boyka has been in government for the last 30-something years and has done nothing, then maybe he has no information about who Ambassador Boyka is. Because I know when Ambassador Boyka worked with LPMC, he was he became the first Black or Liberian managing director. It did not happen by accident. It happened because of his intelligence, because of the leadership that he provided as a supervisor. He was the first Liberian managing director. And by the export and the grade became of better quality. And LPMC made a mark, started to export cocoa and coffee out of this country. It was under his leadership as the first Liberian managing director. Now, there were several other Liberian managing directors working at the LPMC at the time. So if he could be seen as that person to take over from there, because LPMC used to be managed initially by a white person, by a Caucasian. He was the first Black or Liberian managing director. Now, it's not ordinary. He also had a record.
He's breaking. Is it just me or
he is breaking?
I can't hear half the thing he's saying. Brother Rollin, you're breaking in. You're going in and out, Brother Rollin.
Yeah, but I'm going through this. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's your network.
Can you speak? Let's see if we can hear you now.
Yeah, try it again.
Yeah, where is there? He has initiated policy in the agriculture sector that has to do with your programs, small farmers and all of that. It was when he was at the Ministry of Agriculture. Ambassador Bwaka, nobody may know that even when he became vice president, there are a lot of dispute resolution that he got involved with, initiated as vice president. Okay, there was issue with the marketing association. There were land issue. There were so many other issues that was passed on to him, and he resolved it as vice president. He set up his foundation today.
Roland, let me ask you a quick question.
I am.
I'm not interrupting you. Sorry.
You're not getting me?
Yeah, you are breaking, but let me ask you a quick question. I want you to
You're not getting me.
To speak directly to what Lofa highlighted.
Yeah, please.
The people of the issue with special needs, because I don't
want to.
Yeah, we'll get to that. No. Lofa only highlighted. No, he did not only highlight that. He also highlighted other issues that he done nothing. You know, having served someone
again, I generalize his not doing
years ago, man. I'm trying to highlight some of those things.
Nothing, but
coming, Chief. I will get to that. No, yeah, I will get to that. You said nothing. Okay. No, where I'm coming. You emphasize that, yes, but you also said there is something here in government, he did nothing. And I'm trying to also emphasize that to you.
Okay, so that's
fair. And so he done that. Now you mentioned that about his mother being somebody with handicap. Ambassador Baka, yes, of course, the group of 72nd honor his office. When they were directly under the office, of course, they were being supported through the national budget. In fact, Ambassador Baka had 2 or 3 persons, I'm going to find the name, that got amputated in this country, that was taken out of here to America, and they got treated. That means they, what was it? Is that the apostles? What they got their foot replaced.
The prosthetic legs.
But the prosthetic leg?
Yes, prosthetic legs. He took to the States. About 3 or 4 Liberians. One lady got in an accident, a very terrible accident.
Yeah, but Roland,
somewhere around the SD hospital. And she got you. This is what I'm saying to you. This has to do with people with disability. He did that. He got them to do that. And so, under the group of 72nd, there was a budget. There was a budget to support them.
I'm speaking systematically. We cannot transform Liberia.
Look, you gotta give me a chance to speak. Lofa, when you were preaching your sermon, when you were preaching your sermon, I gave you a chance.
Go ahead.
When you preach your sermon, I gave you a chance. So give me a chance to do mine. The point I'm making, he has impacted people of such. The group of 72nd honor his office. They have budget. And of course, the funding for them was provided and it was supported while they were under the vice president office. Currently also, the vice president has ferry now on different rivers in this country that have saved life currently. They not transport vehicles and move people across different major rivers currently in the country. 4 motorized large ferries on the rivers between Grand Bassa, one in River Said, there's one there at the Farmington River. Check it out on his foundation. So if you say that the vice president being in power, has done nothing, and because of that he doesn't have the leadership, that's wrong. Vice President Bwaka, with his age, as much as with his age, still has the ability to provide leadership for this country. And I know that. And that's why he set his whole platform on what you call arrest with the 6 pillar and spoke about agriculture. He's very clear about agriculture, but he understands what agriculture can do. We know what an agro-based economy is. He highlighted the issue of roads. We've invested in roads. He was one of those concerned about some of the roads in our major economic corridor. He did a lot in education, sanitation, and tourism. So the vice president has demonstrated leadership. That is why he leads the biggest opposition alliance today. Now, if you say this is somebody who should not be anywhere closer to our body politics, you got to be joking, because majority of the Liberian people, to an extent, a good portion, believe in his leadership. He leads down the biggest opposition alliance. So I don't know who you're talking about to take that place, to be there when majority of good portion of the Liberia people see him as that person that can provide a change. And you'll be very surprised. You know, Ambassador Baga has been this person who will define the odds. He will define the odds. And you will be surprised. His leadership will provide the kind of changes we need. It has nothing to do with age. It has something to do with the experience he has. And we'll not accept that.
Roland, we got you.
Wow,
But let me say
back.
this.
Roland, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I want Lofa to come in. Roland, let me say this. Did you just say, and Lofa, please continue from here, then he can respond. Did you just equate the vice president legacy to 4 ferries he put on rivers in Liberia? Because one of those ferries.
No. I'm saying he has a no. I'm saying he has a foundation. Chief, I'm saying he has a foundation, and the foundation has done that. You know how many person died? No. It's a part of his foundation he runs today. I'm just saying he has a foundation. He runs a foundation, and he felt it was good to do that for the society. You say that? I'm saying motorized ferry. It got motorized ferries. Yes, of course. He brought that out of Holland. They are now on our rivers, and they're saving lives.
Then the train hauled before you can go through the. Go on the
they were hauling the ferry. That the place Musa is building the bridge.
Musa building a bridge to that place now.
Chief, I said motorized ferries. That's what I said.
No, but the people in that place said he gave them that one.
Yes.
When we went there, they said he gave them the one that they can be hauling. So that's what Musa is building the bridge.
No, the one I know about, the ones I know about, they are motorized ferries.
Now motorized too. Now when you haul it,
they have missions on them. Yes.
Light. That was all.
No. You started like a boat. It propelled itself. I said motorized.
That's it. Yeah.
So my thing also for the group of 77, we asked about a legacy on people with special needs, and you highlighted 4 people that he helped travel to get prosthetic limbs.
Don't take my words out of my mouth. Give me a second.
That is personal investment.
I listened to Brother Roland, and he made the case that people benefited from honorable boycott kind gesture. 4. What is the current population in Liberia? And what was the population then? To come out here and name 4 beneficiaries of honorable boycott, the agency that he supervised, managed 4 beneficiary. And even to do that, you struggle to tell us exactly what these people, okay? The group of 77, they are the most vulnerable group of people in our society that you would think focus should be given to them.
And for 12 years.
But you're not listening to me. No, you're not listening to me. No, you didn't listen because the group of 77 gets budget.
They have their own
support.
budget. I hope you know that.
What impact was made? Because those people are still in the
years. For us to sit here and pinpoint 4 instances where he contributed to these people as though you're speaking of one Lofa Julius.
Now, just some of the accomplishment. The people have their own budget and Lofa Juniors.
Who you categorize as people with disability.
I am surprised you said the most vulnerable people that are our youth.
Are you serious?
They are vulnerable as well.
But let's clarify it.
Let's keep it. Let's keep it to the people with disability, like Lofa is discussing. I understand. Let's keep it to that. Okay, people with disability, yes. And I'm just saying what happened. The group of 72nd is taken care of. There is a budget for them. They are supported under the national budget. So you can say the vice president personally must be responsible for thousands of people if they are in the thousand. No, there's a national program for them. And the national program was done that kept them like what they are.
What is
that? The people at the group of 72nd, they are fed. You don't think that? They go to school. They got budget. They are in schools. Most of the people are in school. They're taking care about that. They have their own leadership. So you can say the vice president is supposed to be responsible to take care of all of them personally. Is that how you measure leadership? Is that how you measure leadership? Or somebody who say you must do this? That's not how you measure leadership.
Yes, leadership is based on impact. Okay, leadership is based on impact. What impact have you made?
Yeah, leadership can also be interesting.
Look, government
can also be about the abstract.
It's governance. Okay, governance is service oriented. Government is service oriented. It's not simply based on the fact that you can actually reap what you don't what you sow into it. Let's be honest to ourselves.
No, you impact them
after all of those
abstractly
years,
too. Look, Ambassador Baga is on the ballot, Chief.
Are you done?
He's on the ballot.
Okay, he's on the ballot. That's fine. That is his constitutional right. Okay, and I support the idea.
And he's going to be elected.
The idea that we as Liberians, and I support the idea, Brother Rollins, I support the idea that we as Liberians, we obey and we respect the Constitution, unlike Honorable McCay, who is purposely and openly trying to instigate some level of violence in our country by threatening the
No. That's wrong.
I will tell you that
it's not an exact statement. No, he has never done that. He's a peaceful president, and you know that. You know that. Ambassador Baga is a peaceful president.
I know the fight.
When last you heard him in entity of violence? When last?
Here's the fight, Rollin.
He's a peaceful president.
The fight that Honorable Boykai could not make any impact on the lives of the group of 77 people who
but you're not
today after 12 consecutive
you're not
years,
fair to say that because he has done that.
What that tells me is
but let us clarify the issue with LPMC. After he became MD after the coup,
and he got terminated.
It wasn't based on merit.
No. It was no.
Thank you.
So he was deputy MD, and then they wanted somebody, a Liberian, to head that position. So he was already in the system.
Yeah, and so. So why wrong with that?
The fact that he served
but he was the first Liberian.
I agree.
Madam Shalif, in her rational judgment, let's be honest with ourselves.
But he was the first Liberian. That's what I'm saying.
You needed the votes from the people of Norfolk County. So she considered Honorable Boycott to fill in that gap. It wasn't based on merits. Okay.
Do you think Maraseli, Lofa, do you think Maraseli made a decision to take Ambassador Baga when he was somebody with no substance? That's not true. This is why Liberia people going to elect him, because he defined the odds. When people think that he can't do what he's suggesting himself or presenting himself to do, he will do it.
On the fact that we continuously infuse tribal lines into our politics, but Shalif knew she needed the people of Norfolk County. She needed my people. She needed my vote in order.
But the local people were not the only people with votes. No. The local people were not the only people with votes. No. The local people were not the only people with votes.
That they had the population.
The Pele tribe is the biggest tribe, yeah?
You will consider a former warlord.
The Pele tribe is the biggest tribe. The Bassa tribe is also one of the biggest tribes.
The people of Nima County have the numbers. And that is the reason why you are submitting
Loba. Your name is Loba. Let me say this to you. Yes, Ambassador Baga is on the ballot. Ambassador Baga is on the ballot. He's very competitive.
What does that mean?
And I can tell you, he will be elected. So this is a story. This is a story that nobody's gonna hear you right now.
But he's
not making contribution. Nobody's gonna hear you.
And it would be written in history that at least Lofa Julius brought it to the attention of the people that strive our people. We should.
Nobody's gonna hear you. He leads the biggest opposition alliance right now. If he doesn't have the leadership, he will not be doing that.
Go ahead.
The group of people does not.
Let me name them: Unity Party, MDR, Rainbow Alliance, NDC. Listen, Unity Party, MDR, Rainbow Alliance, NDC, the Portion of Liberty Party.
Don't say a Portion of Liberty. Don't call my
Liberty Party is there too.
I don't want you. You don't call my party in your thing. I don't want you on the show. You don't call my party in your alliance. We're not in alliance with you are coming. Keff Hassan can't even. If we don't let him give me answer. Yeah, he let them party people.
Well, you see, guys, let me say this. You know.
And Portia CDC too.
Oh God.
Portia CDC.
The first tip that we put on
LPDB
showing Joe Baca
Portion of PLP
decline.
By the way, Keff Hassan, I appreciate you referring to my uncle as Joe Boycott. Please say the former vice president of Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, the former vice president. So we know that with age, it normally happens for him to you know, for him to go through last stage. But you guys talking about his achievement. I would say yes, he did some achievement, and I will show some of them, so you guys can see. Just one of Joe Buckeye's signature achievement.
Yeah, you come with all kind of things. All kind of things.
You see, this is what makes the closing argument the best platform. We got UP represented for the CDC.
This is not Joe Buckeye achievement.
No, that's not his achievement.
This is Joe Buckeye achievement.
Right, you can define it as that, but that's not his achievement.
What have you done to the producers?
The buyers, the producers are buyers.
So you see, let's say actually,
Nova gonna laugh.
You know, so actually, when the Lofa Road is fixing, and Lofa Road, a certain part of Lofa Road is already completed, is good to go, and see what the people did today to the president.
But what does CDC know about the Lofa Road? Stop that joke, man.
Studio, can you put up that tape of the president in Lofa Road?
So what does CDC know about Lofa Road? Get your
But we can't get in the crowd. The crowd too much.
What they get on please?
It's working. It's working.
Wait. This was today in Lofa?
Today, the stronghold of.
Where did you get that video from, Kev? Because all the pictures I've been seeing, United Party people putting out, they said nobody was there.
You know that they live in their own reality now. And
Joe Buckeye will win in Lofa weekly. That's his own time. George Buckeye will win in Grand Coup, which is his own time.
They transported the civil servants.
So,
oh my God,
let's leave that one.
Jackie, really?
So
you're saying they transported the people?
The people from in that region. They
Jackie, let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question. So all the other candidates. Let me ask you. All the other candidates then coming to Wiyao, Gonglo. They're the only who can transfer people. Only United Party don't transfer people.
No. The country belongs to.
No, we don't transfer people. So with our CDC can transfer people. We call ANC, I call CPP. CDC can transport people. That's what I know.
Okay, so
CDC is the only. Yeah, only CDC can transport people.
But that was impressive though for Wonderman. Just. I mean,
well, you guys,
what I've been seeing. I've been seeing.
You're talking about it. What happened?
When you saw the video, there's several videos right after they left. The people started celebrating Joseph Boakai with their t-shirts on, celebrating the United Party. I will send it to you.
That video not scare you. That video scare you.
I will send it to you. Scare me where? George we have a win in Grand Coup, but then Joseph Boakai will not win in Lofa. So the Cooper will vote that song, and then Lofa will not vote that song. Sit down there.
Roland, can I ask a question? So I don't think it's about we are winning in Lofa. My thing is, I think if he is able to cut into Boakai's win in Lofa, don't you think it's a problem? Because unlike you guys, I don't think you'll have any shot at cutting into Grand Cru. Because I don't even think you're going to Grand Cru. You're even going to Grand Cru? You're going to the Southeast?
The Grand Cru people from 2017.
Of course, Jeremiah Kuhn is there. Our vice Senate Barrett will be in the Southeast by tomorrow. Yes, he's going there.
Vice President going to the Southeast? Is he going to go to the Southeast?
Our vice Senate Barrett will be in the Southeast to represent the ticket. He's already on his way there.
Your presidential candidate not going. Is that what you're saying?
Could likely go, but the vice Senate Barrett is ahead already.
No,
That's fair.
The roads bad, so the car be jumping. So you don't want go that place there.
And let me also ask this question. Let me ask this question, Roland. Let me ask this question. I've seen videos and I've seen pictures of what is purported to be the president's convoy stuck in the mud going to Lofa. And I've seen the Unity Party people make fun out of it. I'm trying to understand, why are you guys making fun out of that when you were in power for 12 years?
Let me tell you why.
Yeah,
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because you know why? When the Unity Party was in power, we're not saying vehicle did not get stuck in the mud. But people could go to the Southeast. People did not have to go through Aricos to go to Maryland. We made sure the roads were maintained at a certain point in time. Even to Lofa. Let me say this to you. From Bum to Salaye, it's been done by Chico under the Ara consortium that we formulated that corridor. That project has been done. From Salaye to Zozo, East International has it. The contract given to them. From Zozo to Vojima, Thomas Farah Company has that. They've done no work on that road. The money have been disbursed to them and no work done. That is why you see vehicles are getting stuck like that, because contractors have works and no work being done on the road. So I'm not saying vehicles don't get stuck, but we're providing maintenance on some of those roads. Now, to go to the Southeast, you must go through Aricos. Our VSB, we have to pass through Aricos. If President Weah wants to go to the Southeast,
let me just cut in there. Let me cut in there. Did you say Thomas Farah Company? Did you say Thomas Farah Company?
Yes.
Really, Thomas Farah Company got contract to do road?
Yes.
So the government did business with itself, which is corruption. That's what you say.
I'm telling you. Exactly.
It is evidence to that effect.
For Salaye to Zozo to Vojima, the company that got the contractor to maintain that road is owned by Thomas Farah. I know that for a fact.
Is that true? You saying that?
I know that for a fact. I'm saying it.
Wow.
Go and investigate. I know that for a fact. Yes. So when they went to the legislature, the minister of public works was before the legislature. The minister of public works was before the legislature. She was querying on that. Even St. Joseph companies also. You know, they have companies. The Thomas Farah and St. Joseph have road companies, and they award themselves contracts. You guys don't know that.
So you say so? Wait.
Kevin is aware.
I mean, that would make corruption a major problem in this country. That would make corruption a major problem in this country.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we have. It's absolutely wrong. That would make corruption a major problem in this country.
Exactly.
The government should not be self-dealing. There's absolutely no reason why. Kev, maybe you got better information to supply us.
This is our formal network. Somebody just says something, you grab it, you start talking. This man needs to bring something. So it's not our formal network. What you do over there? Somebody says
the Minister of Public Works. The Minister of Public Works. The Minister of Public Works was queried before the legislature.
You just grab something.
And she couldn't speak to that.
Keff Hassan, out of all honesty, though, if you have the factual information,
the Minister of Public Works was asked
to debunk what
before the legislature.
I agree. Provide the proper information.
How can I debunk something that he just come up with?
Well, again, you just said you disagree with his statement, right? You said you disagree.
We need to check that, because if it is
East International, that's a contract on that corridor.
Let me say if that is the case.
You say what?
Yeah.
Let me say.
Yeah, I said if it is true, if it is true, then there's a serious problem.
You provide evidence.
Okay, leave it.
It's truth. I'm telling you, it's truth. The Minister of Public Works was queried before the Senate about that. It's truth. I know that for a fact. East International, the company that doing the RIA road project, they have a stretch on that road from Salaye to Zozo. Zozo to Vojima there's a company owned by Thomas Farah. They have it. And money has been dispersed to them, and they have not done the work on that corridor. I know that for a fact. The minister went before the legislature, before the Senate, and she was queried about that.
Wow. This man got to bring something.
But that's what I'm about to say. When you say you know that for a fact, can you provide some evidence to that?
That's like you didn't say party man talking.
You want me to bring it when I publish, when the Minister of Finance said they have done 600 kilometers of road, and I defied the government, and I published that, they did not come back. I will get the name. Yeah, I will get the name, but I know East International has the first corridor. I will get the name.
Yeah, but do you know?
I'll get the name. I'll give it to you.
At least,
yes.
Does he even know the name?
You're speaking with a lot of authority.
The name of the company.
You're speaking with a lot of authority. You're speaking.
Kev. I've been in the road sector for a while, and I know that.
Yeah, you were.
So, Kev, can we also ask Kev, Ben? Can we ask Kev, since Kev is connected, is so connected in the government, can he give us information on the companies that are doing the Lofa Road? Because I think he can easily get that information.
True.
So can Kev give us the information of the companies that have been contracted to do the Lofa Road and how much money has been paid out to each of them? Can you do that for us?
Let me say what I know.
Roland. Kev is the government president. Let Kev provide information for us.
But Vojamatofoya is SSF currently that's doing that role.
SSF. But that's
Kev provide that.
The reason why you
does not have it
because you're using your earpiece. If you probably take the earpiece out of it, the air code is going to stop because it just keep messing with your
Yeah, that's true.
So take the earpiece out, and then that would prevent the.
Okay, so the air code doesn't come if I remove the earpiece, right?
Well, I'm suggesting that yes, it would prevent that from happening if you just.
So I remove the earpiece, so the echo is not there anymore.
No longer.
Oh yeah,
talking.
Yeah, no more echo. No more echo. That's
true. Okay, yeah. So you see, I follow her advice, so I remove the earpiece.
Listen. Thank you, Lami. You cannot come here. You cannot because the body of proof is on Roland.
No, we're not in code. We're not in code. We're not in code.
My man, listen.
This is a code of public opinion, so don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to judge now.
Fucking Roland, at least give us Thomas Fala company's name. You give us Thomas Fala company name.
The main I
will get the company. I know this is what I'm saying. There's 3 companies. I know 2 of the names. I just slip my mind because you know why? It's not a regular company that been existing. But I will get the names and I will let you know. I will give it to you by tomorrow. I can send it to you. His company work on that corridor. And because of that, money has been disbursed to them, no work. The minister was square before the Senate about that.
You see, International had...
Let's do our closing comments for the day.
Most of the secondary roads under my alley. By the way, East International...
You know nothing about that.
That your ministry, by the way, East International came under Ellen. Am I lying?
But true, East International.
Am I lying?
East International, of course. East International competitively, yes, did concrete roads, of course.
Wait, Roland. You see, Roland.
Yeah.
I want to
see that. You can always be plow. So for your own time, you say competitively.
Yeah.
You know, I say competitively, Ben. Ben, why I say competitively? Because you know why? I can tell you. Most of the contracts awarded do not go through any proper procurement process now. I know for that for sure. The RIA road project was never procured. It was single-handedly given to East International. Nobody can deny that. There was no competitive process. There was no bidding process for the RIA road project. It was single-handedly given to the East International.
East International.
It shouldn't go there. The legislature does not procure contracts.
That's not a bidding process there. The legislature ratifies.
The legislature does not procure contracts.
East International came under the last government. They just rectified it and changed because they had a deal for the.
No. It was a different thing. Kev, you don't understand. I can explain. Kev, I can explain what happened. East International had a pre-financing contract that was done for community road for 50 kilometers. Kev, let me explain this to you. What are you talking about? No, let me explain to you. Yes. East International won a bid to do 50 kilometers of concrete roads in the communities. That project, I come in. So let me provide the clarity here. That project was a pre-financing project. And because there was a new government to take over, the government could not commit the country without getting a legislature of financing. It was only about financing. It was for community roads. So the financing was done through the legislature, and it was a pre-finance project. That is, they work and they get paid. They must work before they get paid. Find the money, work and get paid. It was a pre-finance project. So the legislature had to rectify the financing agreement because you are committing the government. That was why it was done. When this government came, they changed it, 50 kilometers of concrete road to RRA, which is a asphalt road, no procurement, a project that was $90+ million that it escalated to $160 million and gave it to East International. We're just ratifying the financing agreement without no procurement process, because a procurement process must be done before you take it for financing if it's under the pre-finance arrangement. The legislature does not do contracting. The legislature is not involved in contracting, especially when it comes to government contract.
Let's give Kev a chance to respond.
So most of the projects, I'm saying, and then that's what I said, most of the projects are not procured. Most of the projects are single-handedly given, and that is why Ambassador Bwaka is committed to that under the fight against corruption. We will listen to this. Read my lips. We will audit the CDC government when we win these elections. I can tell you that. We will audit the CDC government when we win the election.
Okay, you're in with you're playing audit. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kev can talk now.
But brought into the country by ruling government to fix the secondary road, community road. When the government came, they renegotiated to a cheaper price to make most of the highway to a cheaper price.
What?
That's why you see
$160 million.
That's why you see them at the RRA. So this government has
$160 million.
A better deal. Imagine all they brought them for to fix all the pothole, the secondary road. Way too much money for that. Way too much money. The same way they spent $50 million every budget year for the mansion. That only this government fixed the mansion. Mansion never fixed. Go and check the budget line for executive mansion. Go and check it. So.
Well, I think you should have. I think you should have audited.
So
you should have audited the government.
The government took it back and rectified.
No.
And fix it well.
You should have audited the government.
And fix it well to a cheaper price for East International.
No.
Cheaper price.
$160 million. Kev, the project is $160 million. All the assessment done on that project, the highest was $90 million.
Look, I want you to listen to this. For the secondary road, for those pothole, for over $100 million for pothole. The government said
Kev,
no.
you don't know you don't know about it, Kev.
So Roland was working in that ministry.
Bring Kev, get somebody else to call to talk about it.
Let Kev talk.
That's how they got their money. That's how Roland they got their money. So who should be audited? That Roland. That's how they got their money. The same way they got it for the mansion, the same way they got it for the airport. Just put more money. So the government said, no, you cannot fix the secondary road pothole for over $100 million.
Okay, so Kev, quick question to you.
What?
Kev, a quick question.
What $100 million?
Kev, a quick question to you.
And that's why you're saying. That's why you can see the RRA road. You fly to Liberia now, you see a yellow machine.
Kev, a quick question to you. Are you stating, Kev? Are you stating that? Are you saying that the road, the contract for RRA that was given to East International, you're saying that East International had a contract to fix secondary roads? Yes. And when this government came to power, this government made a determination that secondary roads were not as important as the RRA road, so they flipped it. Is that what you're saying? That they changed?
They're saying the money too much to fix.
Okay, so they're saying the money was too much. According to you saying, the money was too much to fix secondary road. But so instead of using that money to fix secondary road, we'll fix RRA. Is that what they did?
No. Yes, but Ben, there's a clarity here. Okay, no money was too much. The pre-financing project were anywhere around 50 million for 50 community, 50 kilometers of concrete road. That's why it was to build concrete road. Now let me give you an example. A pilot project was a smart road, the road behind the BDC, and also the Tinga Village Road. These were the pilot projects. So it was just about 50 million for different community roads. Banjo community, Chikisu Factory, Nicholas Town, So Cleaning. All these communities were part of that, the kilometer roads. So it was for concrete roads and not RIA. When they came, they did not do any. other things,
So,
but to increase
so
it, the
we
RI
have,
road
we have
project
nice,
is
we have a nice
160 million.
let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question. Roland,
guys,
Roland, can you allow me? Come on, let me
no,
ask you one question, please.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you one
Go ahead,
question.
Lamin.
Look at this other one doing routine party work.
No, no, Kev, that's just a simple question I want to ask you. Why?
You
guys
working for
talking to me,
party,
so let me
you
say
don't
this.
even know it.
We had a nice night
want
tonight
to say
of very
Roland now?
active engagement. So
That mean you want
we're
to
gonna
say
start
Roland
our
now?
So I
closing.
can just do my closing and asking the question. I can do my closing and asking the question, right?
Yeah. So we'll start with you. You do your closing, Lami. Do your closing.
Yeah. Okay. So from the conversations that we just had, especially the last, the tail end of this show, it tells you that a major problem we have in this country is the issue of corruption. It's interesting that the
Exactly.
the UP people accusing the CDC people, vice versa, accusing the UP people. So so the problem basically both of them know the problem is with them. They know it. So the rest of us Liberian people gotta realize that we have to allow the people to step aside, keep them out of the issues of governance, and let other people take the reins of power and run this country. From the evidence of things, the person who will do that best is Councillor Tiawan Gonglo. He's a bold person. He has bold policies. He has a 10-point anti-corruption and economic development plan that is called the Better Liberia Agenda. That plan will put this country back on track. That plan will make sure that nobody plays footsie with government money. You won't just grab government money like kept saying that these guys got rich out of building roads. I don't understand why up to now. That's a question for you, Kev. I don't understand why up to now none of them in prison. What have you
That's
people?
the point.
I mean, it's so easy to prosecute people for corruption. It's so easy to do it. Why 6 years down the line you waiting for statute of limitation to kick in? 6 years down the line you have not dragged anybody to court. You have not you don't even need audit to do that, Roland. You don't need audit. You can target investigations. You don't need to audit the entire government in order to determine whether somebody did something wrong. You can target investigations. You can grab people. By now, Kev, you will not be saying these people stole money. You will be saying the people that stole money, they're in prison. That's what you will be saying.
They don't.
This country cannot afford. This country cannot afford to continue doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, Kev. And I hope the few months you people have in power, I hope you can start prosecuting people. I hope you can start. You got 4 months.
That's why we have arrest.
You got 4 months. It's not bad. It's not a short time. 4 months is long enough. You can start the prosecution. We'll get it. We'll continue.
Okay.
They don't have the balls to do that.
Thank you.
They don't have the balls, eh?
No, they don't have the balls to do that. Since you know anything about real prosecution, they don't have it.
So, Tomalin, again, thanks to you guys for the invitation. It was a great opportunity and great interaction, of course, to sit on here tonight. But I would like to, just give out my closing argument time to a little sister of mine who feel like she wanted to be heard tonight. Unfortunately, we were not able to open up the phone line. So I hope not to be going against the rules of the platform,
Go ahead.
but she feels like she wants to be heard. And so I'm going to call her real quick. Samerica is going to be, again, she's a person with special need as well. She wants to speak to this. So Samerica, you're on the show. Go ahead and speak. You have about a minute.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Samerica.
Can you guys hear her?
Yeah.
Okay. You go ahead. Go ahead, Mama.
All right. My name is Samerica. I'm an advocate for people living with disabilities or special needs. And first of all, there was a comment that was made by one of your panelists on the show calling people with disabilities handicapped. That is very disrespectful. That comment is distasteful. And if you guys bringing people on your platform, they should be aware of languages that would offend certain community. So that is very offensive. And I hope he can apologize to people living with disabilities. And secondly, the lady on the show called Jackie said that it's the young people that are most vulnerable in Liberia. And I would disagree with her. I understand that young people are vulnerable to so many things, but when it comes to people with disabilities, we are at the bottom of the barrel. And society, most especially our African, our Liberian community, people, there are a lot of opportunities that are not given to us. We are being marginalized. We are being discriminated. Our society is not inclusive. So for her to make such a comment, that is so distinct. That I don't know. Sometimes I caution people intelligence with their education. Because if you would say that people with disabilities are not the most vulnerable in our society, then I try to question how people analyze and think. Because when you look at as a person with disability, there are a lot of opportunity that are not being given to a lot of us. We see our schools are not accessible. There's to be a young child that have disabilities, and who is young, and they are also they are vulnerable on I don't know how to say it, but this is very disheartening to see a person saying such a thing. And I hope the closing argument can address, and when it comes to disabilities issue, you should bring people on your show to encourage this kind of conversation. I have watched your show so many times, and the last thing before I leave, when it comes to the vice president office, and the vice president office, the budget allocation, when it comes to people with disabilities, they go through the vice president office. It's not just a group of 77. There are a lot of other agencies and agents and that is responsible for disabilities affairs. But when it comes to budget allocation, it goes to the vice president office. I remember at Corina Hotel, I sat before Joe Boacat, the vice president, and I asked him what your government and what your office has done, and he looked in my face and said nothing. So from that day, I hold him accountable. There is no tangible programs that was created for people that look like me in Liberia. Look at a group of 77. Look at the place that people sleep. I will send that video to Judas. I hope the closing argument can play that video. See how these people live. They live in the place that is filthy. Even our animals cannot even live in those places. For you guys to sit here and y'all sit down and condone this kind of behavior from our leaders and not hold it accountable. This is heartbreaking, and I hope people with disabilities listening, Liberia. When you go into the ballot to vote this 2023, remember your vote is not just a discarded piece of paper. Vote on leaders that will bring changes to your community. You don't deserve to be begging, because that's how our Liberian community see us, as objects of pity and charity. We are tired. People are begging. People don't even have access to good health care, no access to education. And some of you will sit on here. You'll have your family overseas and having all the best education. Even the vice president running mate, his daughter have disabilities, especially in America too. How about that? Can we talk about that? Why can't we have the same access in Liberia too? So, and I hope the closing argument can open this conversation of that people with disabilities, that you guys can address our issue. Because every time you talk about disabilities issue, I see that you're just like talk over the surface and then you let it go. It is something that every platform should address, and I want to caution task closing argument, please, when you're bringing your guests on your show, you gotta do your research. Words are offensive. Some of us have disabilities, we are very educated, we're not stupid people. So you can't use offensive comment and offensive remark and we will sit down and let it slide. No. Thank you, Julius, for giving me the time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Samerica. So, guys, thank you for allowing me to have that opportunity to give Samerica the opportunity to voice out her either what a dissatisfaction or view on the conversation tonight. I think it was a great conversation, but again, I don't think the statement made in closing, I don't think the statement made was intended to offend anybody with any form of condition. I think again, as we are as a society, as we are educated on these different aspects of things, we will become a little bit more cognizant of some of our utterances. So, Samerica, on behalf of the closing argument and all of the panelists on here tonight, we extend our sincere apologies and we hope to learn from it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let's hear from Mr. Giddings.
Okay, Timothy, thank you so much. It was good we were here tonight. Like you said, I mean, I'm sure everybody know people who have this kind of impediment. You say, this disability, and even people who sometimes people may call blind, you call visually impaired. I've been involved with a lot of visually impaired people with the Lions Club International. We focus on visually impaired. So the certain words here you use when you're addressing them, so it does not become offensive. Whoever said that, I mean, I know it was not intended for any bad reason. But let me say that I think it was a good interaction, Tomalin. We're very clear on what Ambassador Barker looked to see. Ambassador Barker looked to see a Liberia that's going to be prosperous. And that's why he set up his agenda arrest. And arrest is in twofold: to arrest the situation that have happened over many years in our country, and to begin to put us on a new footing. And like I highlighted, the issue of corruption, the issue of taking what does not belong to you is something that Ambassador Barker takes seriously. Our CISPIL, our platform speak to that, anti-corruption, and it's clear on the issue of those who come to government, we have to declare their assets, and there'll be a background check on individuals who are going to work in government. So our efforts, it's not that he just want power. There are people who are able to defy the odds. And I think Ambassador Barker is one of those persons. There are a lot of people who thought that Ambassador Barker would not be around today. A lot of people who thought that Ambassador Barker will be walking with stick or walking with crutches. It's not happening. He's very energetic, and he's defying what people believe, sometimes what nature may provide. And I think the leadership that he has provided in everything that he did, to the point that now, he runs and leads the biggest opposition political party that is poised to win the elections. I believe his vision is not narrow as people may think, and some of us may be surprised to see the kind of changes that Ambassador Barker will bring. He's looking at, the intent of bringing everybody on one thing. And that's why we have the coalition. We have to do. It's not just going to be up for the Unity Party, its allies. It's also going to be up for other Liberians who are productive. And I think we need to do that and change the course of our country. Our country is not okay. The image is terrible right now. We all know that. CDC has been struggling over the years to build a better image for our country. There's so much about our country. Now, that's why the names in reports highlighted by international organizations that are terrible. We've taken almost 400,000 persons into poverty when they said they were going to move 1 million people out of poverty. Their own PDP said that. So many of the things they said they would do, they're not doing that. They're dumping the image. They're not built on the foundation. So it's good being here tonight, and we're going to continue to push Ambassador Barker agenda, which is on CISPIL, and arrest. And to say arrest, it means we're about to arrest the situation in our country. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Giddens. Jackie?
No, let's go for Jujasco.
Let me.
He finished.
No, I think I already gave up my time to Samerica.
Let me go quick.
Okay.
Okay, Kev.
You see, let me say this, guys, Mr. Moderator. The part of the Unity Party, the weakness of the Unity Party towards our people, I really sometimes don't know what to say. You have a lot of opportunity, a lot of money coming, billions of dollars. Nancy Pelosi came to Liberia, said things. A lot of opportunity, but the Unity Party did not make use of those things. In less than 6 years, the Unity Party can argue with us on development. What I tell you, think about it. They got 12 years. Less than 6 years, we argue on roads. We are argue on healthcare. What this government is doing with the budgets and lack of funds, the lack of help that the Unity Party had, and they're doing more. Imagine if this government had that help. People will ask, well, why are not having it? And then we need to remind people, in that 12 years, Liberia was considered as a post-war country that needed help. Now we on our own. Look at Julius, sectors were not being paid by the Unity Party government. Education, healthcare. So you see why they were giving themselves big salary because all that money were coming, they were paying themselves. So when people want to talk about harmonization, I dare any government will come after the president 2029 will take away harmonization. They can never take away harmonization. It's just talk. They can never take it. You know why? Let the Liberian people see any government after 2029, the president last term 2029. Let me see any government who come to power and start giving people $20,000, $25,000, and giving somebody $1,000. It will never happen again. That's why the harmonization fix. No government will do it in the face of the people, and we educate the people why we got harmonization. Because we brought harmonization for people to have fairness. So what we say here, because of a certain people, like my brother Roland, them, they're saying that the lifestyle they used to live then would just get it. Remember, they have $500 million was in our economy by oil. Left the economy because oil left. Imagine, those guys were balling. So if you hear, they will tell you, anytime the city were balling. But guess what? You balling that you don't have roads, Lofa, you don't have dialysis center, you don't have oxygen tank, you don't have Emirate Hospital, you don't have the 14 military hospital, you don't have any of those things, and you call it balling? So this government will say, no, you're not going to ball. You're not going to get $20,000. That Oma will not pay wire fee. That Oma will not pay that money. We will pay the money that you want to ball with, the money that you want to give our girls to go sleep with them. We're not going to do it. Those girls will pay the wire fee. You will not sleep with them. That's why this president's happy. That will not happen. That's why Roland and them
saying that.
the Unity Party want to bring back. They want to bring back to sleep with our young sisters. So they want to take out the WAEC, the free university. Because our girls want to go to university. Then they go to you because you know what? They put the money in your hands. So they say, no, get her the money. So they get her the money. They say, meet me to my house. That will not happen. And this president said, let me give you an example.
Oh,
let me give you an example. Lufa.
And who should do that?
Assistant Minister, Mama Sikaba, my little sister, Mama Sikaba. But she was taking a WAEC fee. Men wanted to sleep with her because of WAEC fee.
Somebody's WAEC fee that somebody wants to sleep with somebody for. Can't stop that. End the show.
And I'm saying this live because they wanted to do.
Don't bring Mama C to this.
And you know when that under running government they wanted to do that. That's what they wanted to do. But under this
don't bring that young lady name here like that.
Under this government, I'm saying it live on radio. She hear me. She will buttress it. Under this government,
it's $50. Man. WAEC fee is less than $60. Less than $60 US.
Let me finish.
Let's put up.
Right.
Yeah, but you got the end.
Kind of wrap. Jackie still got to go, bro.
Yeah. Under this government, that will not happen. But lastly, let me say this. Let me say lastly. That's why they're saying if they don't come to power, they will end this country. They will end this country. But that Liberia you'll never bring war. And that's why the president said, let me leave this with you. The president said, show us it will never be a rebel checkpoint. It will never be a rebel checkpoint anymore. So you can talk all you want to talk. It will never be a rebel checkpoint because you want to go back to
nobody fighting one.
To sleep our girls.
Nobody fighting
not going to sleep our girls. The school fee will pay. The school fee will pay. The white people.
You really want to talk about sleeping with girls here? You really want to bring that kind of conversation? Don't bring it here.
So
Jackie,
Don't bring that conversation here, Kev.
Jackie to go home.
Yeah,
Kev, stick to the issues. Don't bring that here because it's in your government.
Right. Yeah, and the rape rate is the highest it's ever been in the country.
It's the highest.
But listen.
Yeah, you know that.
Put all joke aside. And before I actually go into my closing, I forgot to mention that the vice president, Ambassador Boycott, was the one actually under the UP-led government who pushed for a budget for the group of 77. He rarely advocated for them. So, Lofa Julius, he probably were not aware of that, but he actually pushed for that when the UP-led government came into power. And they have their own group. Their funding go to them. Anyway, here's the thing. 40 more days to election. The Liberian people, they keep saying kush, poverty, and hardship. And there's our team, our vice senator bearer, NPP, Maryland senator, who's part of our campaign team. And I believe that's John Balu also in that picture. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Is that Honorable Buckeye in the back? Is that Honorable Buckeye in the back?
No.
What?
No, Honorable Buckeye is not there.
Well, hey, funny.
No, it's not there.
They are on their way to the southeast. We're going to get some votes from the southeast because the roads in the southeast the worst since before the war. And for the speaker to go through Ivory Coast or go into Maryland, that tells you how bad and how terrible the southeast is. And the southeastern people are also crying about kush, poverty, and hardship. So we will get some votes from the southeast as well as win this across the country. But like I said, the people are tired. Kush, poverty, hardship, they're tired. So they are resolved because JMB is the only one with his 30 plus years of experience. Roland, our deputy campaign spokesperson, mentioned that. I'm not going to repeat it here for today, although we'll reiterate it on the show. We got this. And to the voters, for me, my closing is for the voters. Don't let anybody, there are a lot of tricks going around where people telling you, bring your ID card or give me your ID card number or this and that. Please, your vote is sacred. Your voter card is sacred. Keep it. Don't give it to anybody. If anybody comes to you, take their picture and ask them for the name. Ask them for their ID card. Say, before I give you any information, don't give them the information. Say, I need your name. I need to take your picture. I need your ID card so I can take your ID card picture too. And I will go and check with my people to see if it's okay for me to do this. Because I know under our constitution, and that's also gave you my voter registration card. And that's also gave you any information on my voter registration card. And not even also take $1 and sell my voter registration card. So the voters, please don't do that. Keep your voter registration card. It is your constitutional right. Go and vote, and you're not supposed to tell people too. Don't let people force you. Who are you voting for? Are you for Unity Party? Are you for this person, Gonglo? Tell them, ask them why you want to know. My vote is in my heart. And to the new voters, don't let anybody fool you. When you go to that booth, nobody is there with you. So don't let anybody threaten you. It's only you and God who will know who you voted for. People want to trick you out there and say you must take picture. The neck boss already said cameras are not allowed in the voting booth. It is illegal for you to take picture of your ballot and go put it out there. I saw in 2017 we're posting the ballots out there on the social media. The neck boss has made it clear that you should not be doing that. Don't let anybody say I will give you the balance money. When you take a picture of your ballot, then I will come and pay you. It is illegal. You will be breaking the law, and you shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Vote with your heart, with all your heart, and your vote is sacred, is secret, and don't be punching. And some people will fool you and say, well, if you don't like this person, punch the hole in there. Don't do it. The only thing that is also do when you go vote is to check in the box the person you're voting for. That's it. Nothing more. Don't do anything else to the ballot. You don't like the other candidates, leave them alone. Don't touch the box. Don't do anything. Only check the box or put your thumb in the box, the ink, make sure it dry. Don't take it and just fold it, because if the ink go over the page, your vote will be considered invalid.
Okay.
So I gave you some of that voter education here. You please listen, and please, people, spread the word. October 10th, show up and go vote. Even if the lines are long, take your bottle of water, take your food with you, go and vote. Thank you so much to everybody, and vote. Number 2, Joseph Newman.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Quickly. Go ahead.
You taking calls? Closing?
No, somebody else.
Thank you.
And thank you for, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing me on. What I want to say, if you work in the government for 12 years, where ministers and assistant ministers were making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and of course you left that government, and some of the money that were hoarded after you left
$10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Who's lying like that?
But somebody needs a closing statement. Why are we taking calls?
We're closing. We're closing. Who's making $10,000, $20,000?
Yeah, the person can call back tomorrow.
Well, man, that might be Tomalin's closing statement. That might be his closing statement. Let him just close.
Right,
he's the moderator. Let him just give his closing statement with that.
Just hurry up. Let's go and make it progress. But Jackie understand the man, Anthony.
In the sun the whole day to put at least $30 together to pay her rent. Now $60 or $50 is nothing for YI fees. But that's what I wanted to say. When you hear the Unity Party people defending Joe Boga, the man said if. The man said if. It's a conditional statement. Listen, before somebody makes a conditional statement, if, whatever follows that if, it means that not only that you have the ability to do what you say you will do after that if, you have the capacity. It means that Joe Boga and his group and Free Johnson and Bodnike, they already have the capacity. They have the arms, they have the men ready to go. That age is not for nothing. And in conclusion,
okay, a time out for his call. I mean, this is closing statement.
Ask on your former network, how will the CDC cheat? Jackie then said, they will take Joe Boga ballot and say, invalid vote. So if you have your poll watchers there, and your poll watcher will allow the NEC official to take Joe Boga balance and invalid vote, then why do you have poll watchers? People have no reason, there's no iota of evidence of that anyone will cheat. That's why Mo Ali and Jackie, they said
When the person identify themselves, Tomalin, who is that?
Papa Flomo, okay.
I said my name is Augusta Speed Flomo, Jackie.
All right, thank you, Papa Flomo.
Yes, Mo Ali said it, and said
thank you. Say assistant major making 11,000 to 1,000. A lot too much.
As we come to an end, first of all, okay, guys, y'all be honest now. The last time it was 2005, I think 11 or 2005. Madam Sally, Unity Party said she said I bought voters' cards from the sedition. Don't forget. So when you talk about this, let's be honest now. You be introducing in our politics. It's how to buy the pool for voting ID card. She said it. She said it on. I mean, that tape is around. So you stop talking about. Let's be honest. Okay.
So if she said it, what is the meaning of that?
We're talking. She would have been sarcastic when she was saying, "You are accusing her for."
Don't spin it. Don't sarcastic. She said, "Brought it."
Tomalin, don't.
So you agree that Tomalin, you agree that CDC is buying people cards?
Don't justify wrong today. We just give
I condemn it. I condemn it all sides.
No, you're not condemning it.
Yeah, but then also
don't justify wrong. You don't know the context.
I condemn it. No, but you said you're introducing our politics, okay?
No. She was probably being sarcastic when people ask her that.
She was. No, she this is a backer. She said she told them. She jokingly said she told her mom. She told her mom to hide the cards. She didn't say the ball cards.
It's okay. She was being sarcastic when she said she would support the presidency of Honorable Burkai too. She was being very sarcastic.
Look for Julius. You say you independent, but now 1 minute that you spend talking and criticizing this current government.
They meant for sedition. They meant for sedition. It's a sedition in disguise. It's a sedition in disguise.
How can you be independent?
Look, it's a sedition in disguise.
One thing that the government, you even talk
Jackie,
about the drugs.
let me close, Jackie. Today's the birthday of one of our former national players.
Jackie, don't waste your time. It's a sedition in disguise.
Guys who are
I've known that just for the short period.
In the 70s, 80s and 70s. Sakba played for Lone Star, he played for IE and Lone Star. Today's his birthday. He's in Rhode Island. Want to wish him happy birthday. These are the guys who, in fact, on Sakba during that time, they won a tournament. They won the Aratoba Junior Tournament 1979 at the ATS. Want to pay tribute to Sakba. Today's his birthday in Rhode Island. Sakba, happy birthday. Rock of Gibraltar. We all say thank you for your second service to our country. And we pray that you have a good health and God bless you. And lastly, I think there's a headline I keep, but I will leave that headline because you'll see on out there. But check from Africa. The headline is a headline.
Which one now? Because from Page Africa brings in a lot. Some things correct, some things.
No, whenever it says something, thank you. Sakba. This Sakba birthday. Sakba, this is a birthday. We recognize him, man. They call him the Great Zeke, Rock of Gibraltar. I saw this guy play, man. You know who I am. I saw him play. Yeah. This guy. I showed Roland saw him play too. I know Judah. I don't know whether Judah saw him, but I saw him play.
No, I didn't really see him.
Yeah, we saw him play. This guy, they played the great number 5 for Lone Star and IE, but Sakba will salute you, man. Today your birthday. Well, thanks, God. Judah, you brought some fire to the show today. Thank you, man. You ruffled the UP guys and fellas today. And I think.
But Judah is a sedition. So how you expect a sedition to come to me? You be on the other side. You don't do that.
You on this show, Julius. I want you to hear too. What I want to hear your opinion.
Look, a sedition this guy.
No, but here's the thing, though. I have always criticized this government for bad governance.
Nonsense to be on this show.
Okay,
I've never heard you. I just seen you today. I just interacted with you today.
Based on the topic.
All today. I never saw you did that.
The topic under discussion.
All was about the Unity Party. So
the topics under discussion was the statement being made by the various political leaders, and Honorable Boykai was one of those to make those the kind of inflammatory statements. So,
okay, good night, guys.
He didn't. He's a man of peace. Thank you, Jala. Thank you for the day, Jala.
Well, folks, this is all the time we have to be here on the closing argument. The time stands at exactly 4 minutes up to the hour 12 o'clock. Let me say many thanks to the guys that are KNTV, ISM Yiba, Patrick Wisse, and the technical team for the high level of job, and the guys that are Hard FM 107.9 and other community radio stations for relaying the program. On behalf of the team here, my name is Henry Jala, Elijah Zeze, DJ Ratten, and the technical team that are always on ground and making sure that we are true. So, on behalf of the team, we say bye for now and join us tomorrow for another edition of Closing Argument.